Hi, everybody, and welcome to Off the Rack. I'm Sal.
And I'm Tiffany.
This is a comic book show where we take the books that you've read from the past week, recap them, review them, tell you how we thought about them, and then give you recommendations or comments that are coming out this week we think you should pick up. Last week we missed it. What?
It was a little bit of a rough start, but I'll accept it.
It's always rough when I do this intro.
No, usually it's good. We missed last week, though.
We did. We missed last week.
I think it's just, we got to get back into it.
That's right. That's right. The show is sponsored by viewers like you. If you're watching the show live, guess what? You're a secret sponsor of today's episode. All you have to do to help us out is use Super Chats, and we'll read your Super Chat, your comment, your question here on the program. It'll be here for posterity forever. Or, until the heat death of the universe, whichever comes first. But, we got a bunch of books that came out. We did miss a few books that came out the past week.
All of them.
All of them.
To talk about
yes,
them.
But there were some big ones. Just at the top of the show, I wanted to mention that we did read Dark Ages #1.
Yeah.
And we both really enjoyed it.
Yes.
It was just really cool. I don't want to...
That's our review.
Right? It's very cool. The art's great. The story's fun, compelling.
It's well written.
It's well written. Yeah. Good balance of the characters.
Good balance.
Good fan service.
Good use of narration.
Yes. Excellent use of narration.
That doesn't always come off. It
No.
doesn't always play.
No,
this
doesn't.
This works.
No, it really does.
And this is only 6-issue miniseries, I guess.
Yeah, and how often is Tom Taylor going to be working for Marvel? I don't know. I mean, this is the only thing.
The time.
I doubt it. Oh, you mean because the exclusivity contracts over at DC not existing?
Yeah,
quite possibly. So let's jump into some super chats that have been populating our chat right now.
Okay.
Brian Rollins, yes, Off the Rack is back. Last week's Elseworlds Exchange on Amazing Spider-Man was also great. All the shows on both channels are amazing. Well, thank you very much, Brian.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, if you're not sure what he's talking about, go to youtube.com/ComicPop and make it right. And make sure to subscribe. Get us to 100,000 over there.
Let's do it.
Cosmic Reader, you guys are awesome as always. Well, thank you, Cosmic Reader. Much appreciated. Thank you very much for being here. And I think we're caught up. So that's great.
Perfect.
There's a lot going on in the world of comics, a lot going on in our own worlds. So now that we have caught up, I'm gonna take it easy, take a little breather, because today was stressful. It was a stressful day.
Yeah.
Not just in the world, but for ourselves and our private lives.
Yeah.
I had to take a stupid 2-mile hike. Car problems.
Listen, that's good for you. I didn't. I could use a 2-mile hike.
I had to. You could have elected to go.
No. I think when there, if you're not into fitness necessarily, which I'm not, but I should be.
Right.
You never elect to take a 2-mile hike.
No.
You think to yourself, I should do that.
I don't want to,
but
I'm not gonna.
And then sometimes it happens anyway, and you're like, why did I do this?
Right.
And then afterwards, you're like, good for me. Until the next day when you're like, why did I do that?
That's true.
Now everything hurts.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. But yeah, a lot of house cleaning before we get into our reviews. By the way, we're going to be talking about comics. We're going to talk about Shang Chi, and you didn't see the Hawkeye trailer, right?
No.
Okay. We won't talk about the Hawkeye trailer.
You can go ahead and talk about it. I'm okay with that.
Here's a quick and dirty spoiler review of the Hawkeye trailer. It looks awesome. I'm really excited. They're die-harding Hawkeye. Set in Christmas time. Comes out November 24th, I think.
Okay.
And that's it. You know.
Yeah.
And so Clint's through line is, I got to get to my family by Christmas.
Okay.
He bailed on them to be a superhero, but he's got to get back to them by Christmas time.
Right. And that's when Alan Rickman shows up.
Yes.
From Beyond the Grave.
I hope it's somebody as fun as Alan Rickman. I hope that the villain is somebody really cool. It better be, because I got to tell you, the villain game at Marvel is very weak. It's very weak.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I think they
name 3 compelling villains from the MCU.
From the MCU?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's different.
Thanos.
Yeah.
So yeah, but no, I'm really excited. I'm hyped. I think that Falcon Winter Soldier might have been my favorite Disney Plus show so far.
Justin Hammer.
Well, yes. Well, that's because of me. People are gonna get mad if I say that he is more compelling than Abomination or something.
I think he's pretty.
I agree.
Compelling.
He's very compelling. Well, that's Sam Rockwell. But yeah, so I'm excited for it. I loved Falcon Winter Soldier, and I want that back.
Yeah.
As much as I know that people were like, yes, Loki. As it turns out, end of the day, I was like, eh.
I'm glad it existed.
Me too. I loved it.
And I enjoyed the ride.
Yeah, but I didn't have nearly as much of a fun time.
It's funny because at the time, I was like, when Falcon Winter Soldier came out, I loved it, but I thought I liked WandaVision more, and I still like it.
Yeah, me too.
I still like that, and I still like
Yes,
Loki,
we're on the same exact page.
I'm like, I think I enjoyed Falcon Winter Soldier more.
Yeah, same here.
And I don't know if it's just like the strength of storytelling there.
Or the camaraderie. Maybe it was like because it was a
maybe
character study
it's
on two people
It's
over
like almost a
WandaVision.
buddy cop
Yeah,
movie.
that's right. And that's the thing is it appeals to me more. It's just I like street level.
Yeah.
And that's what I want.
But see, I also like sad.
Yeah.
And that at the end of the day is
Right,
what
so-
WandaVision ended up being. So like there's
Exactly.
that there. I don't know. But
Yeah.
like, yeah, I enjoyed them all, but that one I'm like, yes.
Right.
Yes.
Agreed.
I think we could also briefly, before we get into this, talk about the last What If episode.
Oh, sure. Yeah. The What If number 5, Marvel Zombies.
Came out.
We saw it. We loved it.
Had fun.
It was fun. It was one of those things where I really liked it because it was so small. It was like kind of a small scale zombie movie. Made me feel like the one, not the one where they're in the mall, but the one where they're in the bunker. You know, like it's these like crappy, down and dirty, dumb zombie movies where it's like just a cast of 5 people, 3 of whom are extraneous, and just watch them all die and like see it fall apart.
Right.
And the only difference was it was characters that you love and you want to see not die, and they don't implode. That's the only real change. The only trope I think it didn't hit was that like the group itself didn't fall apart.
Right. Well, we didn't spend enough time with them to let that happen.
It's only 25, 30 minutes.
It really helps.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Good.
I agree. Yeah. Any thoughts? Any lasting thoughts? How'd they do the zombies? Do you feel like Disney managed to handle it well? Because like I know we've never thought they'd ever do it.
You know, I think that they did. I think they handled it almost exactly how my brain, I guess, thought they might have, even though I couldn't have told you that. I couldn't put that into words. But then upon seeing it, I was like, this is exactly what they do. They would hint at the gore and violence, which often makes it worse.
Right. Yeah. Because
they show you just enough so that you get it, and there really isn't too much like consumption.
Yes.
You know, when you're talking about zombies, you have to talk about the consumption of the flesh.
Exactly.
But they didn't do too much off panel or off screen.
Yeah.
Where you couldn't like just hear things or like guess what happened. With the occasional here or there kind of thing. But yeah, I think they did an okay job. They're pretty standard zombies.
Yeah.
Standard zombies.
Pretty standard, but like more they're more dexterous. They're able to actually affect their powers and their abilities. And...
Oh yeah, I was thinking of like the general populous zombies.
Oh
pretty
yeah,
standard. They're pretty a Shambler-esque zombie.
Yeah,
you're not getting any rage infected horror.
They're not
shows.
fast, but they are effective.
They are effective. I listen. I don't think in this universe I would have made it.
No.
But like maybe I have a slight chance.
I think
put me in a 28 days later. No, I'm not making that. I don't.
It's not going to happen.
It's just not happening. No, I'm sorry. I'm not making it in that universe. There are certain universe. Shaun of the Dead. I might make that.
Maybe.
I might make that.
Yeah, they're a little slow.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I like the way they handled the zombies.
I agree. Yeah, I dug it. Your boy Chips Ahoy says Pizza Dog over and over again. Pizza Dog is a really integral character to the Matt Fraction Hawkeye run. Yes, he's in the trailer. Yes, we're gonna get Pizza Dog. I'm really excited.
I can't get over your boy Chips Ahoy.
Yeah, it's a great name.
I love that.
You know, it's fantastic. Yeah. Kevin Kruger, do you want to see a live action Gargoyles movie? Yeah. I think yeah.
So in live action terms,
well, the Gargoyles are obviously going to be CG.
Yeah. So like here. Okay. So here's the thing about that. Like yes, but because with the CG Gargoyles, you can get that voice cast back, not a problem.
Right.
I don't think you're getting Jonathan Frakes in Xanatos condition.
No.
To step in that role.
No, sadly, you'll have to recast.
I need that voice though for that character.
I agree. Yeah. You know who I'd cast as Xanatos? Keanu Reeves.
I thought you were gonna say Jason Inman.
Jason Inman, yes. I think Inman would have the chops to handle as Xanatos.
You might be able to do it.
No question about that. Yeah. All right. Barring Jason Inman, Keanu Reeves would be my choice.
That's fine.
But yeah,
he's in better shape. No
Which one?
Frakes.
I don't know. Yeah. Oh, you mean Inman?
No, Keanu Reeves versus Frakes, because like they're both on the older side.
That's true. Right? Yeah, they're both in their 50s, 60s. Who knows?
I don't know.
I don't remember.
But yes, I think I would like to see that if they could handle it.
Yes.
What story do you tell?
The first one. You got to do the flashbacks to the war. You got to do you got to do the first one, the origin story. It introduces everybody to the world, the lore. It sets things up. You
don't want to just drop people into it.
I'm not putting them on a gondola, sending them through the Mist of Avalon. I'll tell you that.
There are other smaller stories you can do that aren't the Avalon stories. No, you say that later on when they spin off to a show.
Yeah, that's the Disney Plus show.
That's the live action Disney Plus shows, the Chronicles of Avalon.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fair. And I just bring back as many of the voice cast as I could. Unfortunately, Ed Asner, R.I.P.
Yeah.
But maybe Mike Myers could be the Hudson.
Yeah.
I don't know, but Keith David obviously is.
For sure. Keith David has to be there.
Yeah.
I don't want, listen, if Keith David dies before they make this show or this movie, this fictitious
then
movie,
don't even make
just don't make it. Don't make it. You're done. I'm sorry. Go do something else. Get out of here.
Yeah. I should also address, I said name 3 MCU, compelling MCU villains. Obviously there's more, and I don't want to fill the comment section with like all the lists. They're already there. The chat's already taken care of it.
That's okay. Listen, chat's got it.
Yeah.
But then comments got it. That's fighting the algorithm because that's actual conversation.
That's true. On. Yeah.
This is fine.
Yeah.
It's a win. We know there are many out there, but I know what you were saying.
Yes.
There was a subtlety to what you were saying.
Thank you.
I get it.
Rusky 910, Eternals trade is the most advanced reorder trade of September. What does that mean? Also, it's a good read, by the way. Yeah, I have no idea what that means, but I do know that
advanced reorder?
Yeah. I don't know what that means. Maybe
Maybe shops ordered X amount and then had to go back and order more because a lot of people are interested.
That makes something to me. Yeah.
Which is like cool, but I finally saw the other trailer that people were talking about, and I had so many questions.
Yeah.
I had so many questions about what this means, but listen, we could speculate on them, or we could just wait and watch the movie. They might be changing up some obvious, and people have already been talking about this, but they may be changing up the origin and or like lineage of a big MCU character.
Yes.
So we'll see.
Which is a shame.
I agree.
Yep.
But it's kind of hard to make this work otherwise, unless you could. You could. They were asleep.
Right.
You could. And then whoever it was to help out got snapped out of existence.
Yeah.
Who would have brought them back?
That'd be really cool.
And so the world machine didn't do anything.
Yeah.
And so when they came back, they brought them back.
I would like that.
Here now.
Yeah.
That you could do that. Or you could just, I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah. All I know is I read Infinite Frontier number 5 of 6 from Joshua Williamson and company. If you don't know what DC's continuity is all about, you're going to be lost. There's no reason to pick this up unless you've already read issues 1 through 4. But it is a fun ride. It does pay off like the kind of mystery. No, there was no mystery. Alan Scott and his kids were looking for Jade, and like they find her at the end of this book. So yay. But like they also introduce Psycho Pirate's new plan, the Injustice Incarnate team, which is going to be a major player. They'll probably be like the Black Order of the DC universe going forward, where they're like inserted in things and you're like, geez, you're really pushing these characters. But yeah, it's just a multiversal group of assholes who don't want to see their universes unmade or their histories rewritten. Because the whole interesting thing is, Psycho Pirate is now a agent ward of Darkseid, and Darkseid's like, listen, there's going to be another crisis. There's always crises, and every time they are, the multiverse suffers, and Earth 1 or Earth 0, Earth Prime, or Earth 0, reaps the whirlwind. Like, they have the big fight, they have the main event, and at the end of the story, they all celebrate, and like our histories are either rewritten or not, and that's horseshit. And so like, let's keep that from happening. And so, like, Darkseid will protect your loved ones and your people if you work for me. So, more or less, Psycho Pirate is it going
to be like the multiverse versus Earth 0?
Pretty much. I think that's where we're headed. Yeah. Well, and there's some people who are like from the original Earth 2, and they, of course, like found a life, like Alan Scott and Power Girl, who found a life in Earth 0, and they have their own histories that have been rewritten or unwritten and so forth. So they're kind of like, well, I mean, yeah, like my original Earth got blinked out of existence, but like I was preserved, so like I'm cool with this.
I'm down.
Yeah, I'm down with this because I'm now de facto Earth 0.
I've become part of it.
Yeah.
You can't become unpart of it.
But you get a lot of fun surprises and reveals. Like Mr. Bones has been this character that's been...
I'm sorry. Okay.
Mr. Bones is a major player of the Infinite Frontier.
I know, which I kind of love, but also I can't help but like chuckle at every single time. I don't know why.
Yeah, but I love it because Mr. Bones had like a silly costume, kind of like pre and post crisis, and then they like made him modern. Like Mr. Bones he's Director Bones, got a suit, he's in charge of things, and then like he just shows back up, but he's dressed like he was, and he's got a fun like aged speech balloon color, and
and he looks like a pirate,
as well he should, because that's what Mr. Bones looks like. He looks like a Jolly Roger flag.
Came to life.
Yep.
And is yelling at
you.
Excuse me. You laugh. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, I yes, you did. But yeah, so It's fine. There's questions about Roy Harper and his Black Lantern status, where the Black Lantern ring came from, what he's doing,
now,
all
what
that
about,
stuff.
did you read issue 6?
Is issue 6 out?
Yes.
I thought this was the issue.
No,
I did not read issue 6.
No, I think this is the one from last week.
Oh, okay.
I thought you were still talking about last week's books.
No, I was just covering it because it was here.
Oh, no, issue 6 came out.
Did you read it?
No.
Okay. Well, I'm excited to see how it all turns out. I just know
it came out.
Well, that's great. I'll have to pick it up.
I'm sorry.
I just missed it. I don't know why. It's on my pre-order, so it's weird that it's not there.
You know, it's funny. I went through all the books and I don't recall seeing the title, but that doesn't mean it. But I've experienced issues like that with digital purchasing before, which as much as I love digital purchasing for my ability to store things, because you only have so much room in life.
True, yeah.
I do find that sometimes it's easy to miss things.
Yeah. Yeah, no. And Comixology, thankfully, the website itself is going away forever. If you're not familiar, if you like Comixology, well, guess what? You're an Amazon customer, and Comixology is going away. The website is, that is.
The app will still be there, and I use predominantly the app. So
yes, and
really
I don't, because I don't read comics on my phone. But you will be using the app from now on, or you can read them through Amazon's website. I don't know if they're going to keep the guided view on the website.
There is a Kindle e-reader.
Yes, there is.
That you can use that through the website. So
that'll be the way to go.
So you'll find out what we thought about the end of Infinite Frontier next time.
Yes. I'll give a very brief
rundown. That's what'll keep you coming back.
Right?
Wink. Wait, are you still blasting through some stuff?
Yeah.
Because I read some stuff.
That's true, you did. Let's hear them.
Get out of the way. Because I read Ka-Zar.
You did read Ka-Zar. I remember you being like, hey, Ka-Zar is a book.
Literally. And you know what's funny? I actually bought this physically.
Yes, you did.
This is actually going to be a total test of my ability to remember what happens in this issue, because I left the issue at home.
Yeah.
I left my homework home. At home, and my cat ate it, and it flew out the window. And I'll have it next week.
Fair enough.
But no, I actually saw this. We were at a comic book store, and I saw it. I was like, wait, seriously?
Yeah.
They're making a Ka-Zar? Okay. I'll pick it up, because that's me. I opened it up. I actually really like the art.
Yeah.
It's written, for those who are interested, by Zach Thompson, with art by German Garcia.
Cool.
This is following what happened in Empire, which I thought was funny. Because nobody really occasionally X-Men have been referencing it a bit.
Yes.
Right? Stuff happened with Empire with them. And others are as well, but it's overall people fans don't really talk about it all that much.
No.
Seemingly. Then there's not a whole lot of chatter about Empire. But Ka-Zar died in Empire and then came back.
Okay, good.
And so he's back, but he's different. And he and his family, we get a little history about him. He's having some nightmares and stuff like that. And he seems fairly disconnected from everybody ever since he came back.
Okay.
His son is coming of age. He's, going on adventures and, running around and doing XYZ. But the fact is that Ka-Zar doesn't want him doing those things. And he seems to be a little more impetuous, and he's we should be eating meat. And I know that sounds weird, but this all fits in. I know it's some little tiny gnat, and it's just it sounds ridiculous, but the idea is that Shauna and Ka-Zar now are very tied to the land, the Savage Land, and and not only are they tied to it, but they can feel it.
Yeah. Okay.
She can feel it, now he can.
Oh.
So now he can feel when a herd of Triceratops are running over there. He can feel the rain on his skin, and it's kind of wigging him out.
Okay, that would wig me out.
But they're also we shouldn't eat meat, and his son's but Zabu does.
Right. And you don't punish him.
And he's they're yeah, but he's a predator. That's what he's meant to do. He hunts it. He could hunt it.
Right.
If need be.
So could we.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? He's that's his nature.
Right.
He doesn't have an option.
Mm-hmm.
He'll be the tofu lion
from Futurama.
Yeah. So these are the kinds of conversations they're having. He's running off and having adventures with Zabu, and Ka-Zar's you shouldn't be doing that. Zabu's literally the last one.
Yeah. You shouldn't be risking him.
Don't risk him on your stupid adventures.
Yeah.
Ka-Zar is having strange dreams about his father, about his upbringing, and meanwhile his son is in communications with something.
Oh.
I don't want to if you haven't read it yet and you may be interested in Ka-Zar, I won't tell you what it is, but needless to say, that seems to be what the crux of this is going to be. There's something else in the Savage Land that's kind of taking over ish and evolving things and trying to change things a little bit. So I'm interested to see where this goes. I'm not the biggest Ka-Zar fan necessarily. Honestly, it was the look of the art. It's got like a fun sort of like retro vibe to it, but like modernized.
Okay, cool.
So
I'm not very familiar with German Garcia's work. So.
I wasn't. I feel like I've seen it, but I couldn't tell you where, and I honestly don't know if that's just not a falsified memory.
Right.
But I kind of dug it. Like I read the whole thing and I was like, oh, all right,
yay!
Like I would have taken another issue right then and there.
Right. That's nice.
Yeah. So I was like, all right, I'll give it a shot.
Cool. We had a couple of super chats along the way, so I'm looking forward to sharing those with you.
I am looking forward to have them shared with me.
Yeah, I think you should be.
Here it's coming through now, Colin.
That's right. Cosmic Reader says, here's a question for Tiffany. How did you feel about that what if MCU show handled the character of Doctor Strange and magic that he was involved with compared to the film?
So that's a solid question. I've been one of those people, and I said this a million times, I'll say it again though. I was not a big fan of the Doctor Strange film.
No.
I like him in the other movies, just really didn't like him in his own film.
Right.
What are you gonna do? I'm happy that he's there, and I'm happy that like in other movies I enjoy his presence.
Yeah.
So fine. But I just wasn't a big fan of that whole thing.
Yep.
The what if I really ended up enjoying. However, I think the big difference there is the what if already established that he was the Sorcerer Supreme.
Yeah.
Didn't really have a lot of the extra baggage.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't a big fan. Listen, I was never a big fan of the casting for Tilda Swinton.
No.
Just not what I was looking for. And
and Marvel's like, well, how dare you? She's gonna be in everything.
And they put her into the what if anyway. And like that was one of the things I was like, damn it. But like magic wise, like I appreciated it because he felt like he was doing more magic than what he does in
the movies.
The movie, where it doesn't feel like magic necessarily.
Right.
So
yeah,
I liked what they were able to do in What If while they were still trying to make it feel like obviously
connected.
Like the movie, but it's a what if, so they can
really push it.
They can kind of bend the rules here.
Yeah.
There, so yeah.
Mexican American Martian says, missed the ASM stream. Wanted to say I and many others appreciate Spencer's working to fix the Amazing Spider-Man canon. Having since passed retcon validates his run. That's one way to put it. There is a book that came out, The Amazing Spider-Man number 73 from Nick Spencer and company. I covered this. Joel and I actually wound up talking about it for a good hour on Elseworlds Exchange, which has returned and will be back on Friday. But this issue is just house cleaning. It's just work. It's just pushing a couch up the stairs. And the idea here is that the whole thing is just, it's more work, more retconning, and it's the penultimate issue, I believe, before Nick Spencer's off the book. And this issue is entirely just people talking at you and explaining to you that things you read and didn't like 15 years ago didn't actually happen the way that you read them. And one of those big things is that Sarah and Gabriel Stacy, the two children, the twins that were the result of Gwen Stacy and Norman Osborn having sex with each other, in fact, were clones created by Harry Osborn before he died in Spectacular 200.
It's always clones.
It's always clones. And not Miles Warren clones. Those were Harry Osborn specials. That the Mendelstrom formula that Harry took made him smarter than the average goblin, but not a hyper genius like Norman Osborn or Peter. And his machinations and access to technology from another random Spider-Man book called Legacy of Evil allowed him to facilitate his nefarious schemes beyond the grave. Whatever. Also, before that, they also established, I think we talked about this, that Mephisto and Norman Osborn made a deal. Norman Osborn pledged his only begotten son, Harry Osborn, to Mephisto in exchange for money and power and success and goblin formulas and whatnot. So, like, maybe the goblin himself is a direct result of Mephisto.
So that, whoa, how did Spencer not out of this create the Ghost Goblin?
Right. There is no Ghost Goblin.
Where, like, Mephisto makes a deal with
Norman Osborn.
With Harry.
Yes, with Harry, and turns him into
let him, like, listen, you do XYZ, I'll finally let you out of hell.
Yeah.
But, like, you're going to be the Ghost Goblin. He's just on a goblin rider. His head's on fire.
Yeah, instead he looks like a reject Hush with centipedes.
Well,
could have been a Ghost Rider. Way better
I don't know if that's better.
I like that way better. But yeah.
I think of, like, I know you have strong feelings about Spencer's run in general. And
yeah.
I'm like, this isn't the first I've heard about this issue from you.
No.
I know some people are very excited about what this is doing.
Yeah.
And so I think it's going to be more interesting to see what follows, how much they end up adhering to the changes made in this.
That's the thing, is that, like, he's not really, he's persona non grata at Marvel after this. So it's like,
They may or
who's
may
gonna
not.
use it?
They may not use it, or they may.
Yeah.
And if they do use it, we may see like almost like an inverse of like what happened with Onslaught.
Yes.
You know, when we covered Onslaught and we talked about how like Heroes Reborn came out of that because they had to make that happen.
Right.
And so like, you know, Heroes Reborn, nobody's real favorite.
No.
I'm sure there's someone out there who's like, actually,
yep,
go
of
ahead,
course.
put it in the comments. But the fact that from this, something out of it like could be very positive.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know?
No, I mean, like the reality is, and there's some lunatic in the comments said something like that I wasn't a real fan, that I don't like. I say I don't like them. I say I don't like One More Day, but I don't like have a podcast dedicated to complaining about it for the last decade. So therefore, I'm not really a big fan.
Get that going.
I know. I'm like, yeah. Well, you got the corner on that one, pal. But just because I don't necessarily care for spending $3.99 on what is essentially a Marvel handbook entry, doesn't mean I don't appreciate them doing it. It's just like, on one hand, who's asking for it at this point? On the other, you need to couch it in a story, and this isn't really a good one. Like, this isn't a good enough story to justify this hard a retcon. I feel like, you know, even Sins Past was a story. You know, it was a retcon and it sucks, but like it has a beginning, middle, and end, and has this like whole thing about like family and secrets and stuff. And this is just more like a lot of noise with some stuff that you want to have happen. Like it's fan service at this point. And I appreciate some element of fan service. I really do. I love a good fan service. I'm a Mandalorian fan. That show is 90% fan service.
Yeah.
But like, on the same token, I also want a story, and Mandalorian is also 10% that. Like Mandalorian, every episode, there's a beginning, middle, and end, and it's a little story. And even if I could like predict the end of every episode, it doesn't matter because I'm having fun going on that journey. This is just like a bunch of stuff that's happening that like Spencer had a problem with. Making Kraven dead, making the Sins Past story not happening, dealing with the Mephisto issue because everyone else is dancing on eggshells about it. Like, there's a lot of work that he's been putting into it, like to just kind of fix it and put it back the way it was. And while I appreciate it, I feel like Spencer's a better writer than what he's shown. And this is not compelling. It's just work. And so, you know, and then the next arc, who knows where Peter's going to be, you know, like, because it's in question whether he's even going to be Spider-Man after this. And it's like, what the, like, you did all this work, all, you know, if you really want it to be where it was, then like, you know, make yourself indispensable by telling stories people like love. No one's going to remember this when it's over.
Yeah.
That's my only.
They might. I don't know.
My complaint is just that. It's just like, no one's going to be like, man, you got to read the Spencer run, because it's all work that's going to be setting up a new status quo, and that's not fun. Like Superior Spider-Man is a similar story where it's like it's setting up a new status quo, but it also is a story about this character going on this journey. This is like Peter Parker is a bit player in his own friggin' drama. Like, he doesn't even have a line in this book.
Yeah, I mean, maybe the point of this isn't to be like the greatest Spider-Man story ever told. The point of it is, for Spencer to like.
It should be Nick Spencer's greatest Spider-Man story ever told. Like, every endeavor that he makes to write a Spider-Man story should be his effort to make the best Spider-Man story he can write. Well, and I know it ain't.
He might have traded that off for the ability to like make some changes that may cause some like long seeing ripples.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so like he might have traded off that. Now I know there's an issue though where like it felt like he was spinning his wheels early on.
Yeah.
But you know, maybe this is a result of him knowing something was coming.
It could be him. Yeah. Oh, you mean Substack? Yeah.
And like wrapping it up real fast, but wanting to make those changes and not trusting that they would make the changes after he left.
Well, he's like, right. They would.
Story's going by the wayside. Then I just gotta get it done. I just gotta get it done.
Right. Well, that's too bad, because
it is too bad, but that like it may have opened the door to something greater.
I remember when One More Day happened, and Straczynski was very vocal about his involvement or lack thereof, and his work that went into it, and so there was no mystery regarding One More Day. And there was speculation about what was going to happen at the end of it during it online. And I vividly remember it. And I had One More Day on my desk for a long time as a reminder about mainstream comics. And this is one of those things that like just trigger that memory, and it is that there is no story, there is no creator that's big enough, that's compelling enough, that's well written enough that can override editorial mandate. Joe Quesada wanted to undo the marriage, and regardless of the entire Straczynski run setting up this marriage as being something integral and important and validating for Spider-Man's character, Joe Quesada wanted to undo the marriage. And so here's this crappy story that's rushed, and it's simple, and it's, you know, it's arguably not well drawn, and it's just this thing, and it's this blight on the character because editorial said, I don't want this anymore. And regardless of how well critically it was doing, how well sales wise it was doing, how what the direction the creator wanted to go in with the character, where it would set things up, and how it would treat the character here, like, you know, going forward, didn't matter. Editorial mandate will always supersede every other aspect of mainstream comics. And that's one of those things where it's like, good for you, man. You spent 2 years not really telling me a compelling story so that a writer who doesn't even work there anymore can artificially alter continuity, when CB Cebulski could walk in at the end of this and be like, it's all a dream. Whole thing's fake. Like, but that's the thing, is that, and that's the problem.
But I mean, that could happen with anything.
Yes,
like that, but you can't live.
No, but you got to keep that in the back of your mind when you're reading superhero comics. Like, you got to keep that in the back of your mind, because like because you're only setting yourself up for more disappointment and like shock when you shouldn't be surprised, and that's the problem.
But I feel like that, like, keeping that in the back of your mind all the time isn't the way to read comics necessarily. Because like that means that you
sometimes a story will make you forget.
Well, yeah.
Like, sometimes a story will just be so good that it makes you forget all that. Right. And I experience that on a week-to-week basis.
Oh, yeah. Well, I will say that I think probably the reason I don't necessarily feel that way is because, like, I don't read bigger characters like this.
No.
I tend to read all right, I am reading X-Men.
You've been screwed by X-Men and Doctor Strange.
I have been reading X-Men, and that I can't say is not big. But for the most part, I tend to gravitate towards the smaller characters. Yes. And when they get a book, either it gets canceled because it's not
your book
selling.
Just gets canceled.
It just gets canceled. But like, editorial don't give a crap.
No, they don't.
And so I don't really have to worry about that. But I don't know. I don't know if I like that, like, fundamental like way of reading comics where, you know, you just know that there's someone else out there who's like just waiting to ruin it for you. Like,
yeah,
I don't like that.
Well, it's just like, just don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if like some jackass shows up who's in charge, who has no good creative outlet, that just wants things the way they want
but
them.
But that may not happen with this.
Maybe.
Okay.
And maybe they won't for 10 years.
No,
and then somebody will show up who's like, I remember one more or brand new day, and I loved that, and I'm bringing it back.
I think it would be an appropriate amount of time,
right,
for a change to occur.
Sure,
then. You know, because now precedent's been set for this character.
Yeah,
that can happen. Yeah, where he's not in this,
right?
Like, he's not married, or, you know, whatever.
Well, and now like we're in a place right now where there's no shortage of Spider characters, so you could bring it back. You could bring back the marriage and have like any number of Spider characters have their Archie-esque romances that Joe Quesada desperately needed to see, that never really happened, by the way. But yeah, so it's frustrating for me because it's like,
I understand.
I'd rather have a great story than work.
No, I do. Listen, I agree with you that I too like prefer a great story, but I also appreciate at times when you can sense that like work's being done.
Yeah, and your point earlier about how it's like maybe he could see the writing on the wall, but he's like, they're not going to let me do this, or they're not going to. If I'm the only one who can do this right now.
Well, yeah, but again, listen, I don't want to put blame on Substack because we don't really know.
No.
But like, if he knew, or he was having meetings, or there were rumblings about that for him, and like before anyone else knew, if he just started putting this together. Because he's like, I got to do this.
Yeah.
This is what I want to leave.
Right.
This is my legacy, is that I got to undo this.
Yes. That's fair.
You know, like he doesn't tell like a Spider-Man Blue or like a life story or whatever. Like, you know, he got to undo something that he didn't like before he was done. For him, that could be worth it. Like, while that may not be like narratively satisfying for you and others.
Right. At least he's happy.
Yeah, he might walk away like satisfied.
Oh, there's no doubt. I mean, like, because you could see on the wall, you could see in the subtext of every issue.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm fixing things.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, cool. Good for you, man. I hope, like, you know, and I'm down, but it's also like, you know, I already fixed that in my head. I don't care about that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't need you to tell me that it didn't happen. It didn't happen in my head. I don't need it.
Yeah, but it's nice to actually have stories that reflect that.
That's
and
true.
Like, after this, maybe you'll get that.
Right.
I'm not guaranteeing that.
No.
Because what do I know?
Right. Well, what do I know anyway? Carl Maxley says, I agree with your theory that DC might make John Kent Superman gay. I'm worried they'll mess with these characters too much. What if DC has Batwoman save a guy and build a friendship and then kiss? Well, that's not. I should say that's not my theory. My theory was not that John Kent's gay. It was more that we commented on a popular theory that was going around thanks to Bleeding Cool.
Yeah, there was
about the idea that like maybe they were setting up a John Kent relationship with a dude.
Yeah.
My issue is only just like, it seems like an artificial decision, but okay, like time will tell. We'll see how the narrative goes. Because I don't like the idea of, it's more like you really can't go back on it when you make that decision. Mm-hmm. So you really have to make like the strongest decision possible, and you have to weigh it as much as you can. Martian says, personally, I think Spencer took on Amazing Spider to put Peter and MJ into a clean slate so some other writer can have a fun run telling a story for 900 to 1,000 issues. I mean, that's really selfless of him if that's the case. I feel like that's a really weird way to decide to do your writing career, but like, that's very nice.
Issue 900 to 1,000.
Right. Yeah, maybe. That's fair.
Because legacy numbering.
Right. Joshua Stevens, how would you guys feel if Tobey Maguire is the MCU Uncle Ben? So the multiverse adds an emotional layer to No Way Home. Maybe both Peters can have closure that way. No, I hate that idea.
No.
I don't want that at all.
No, I'd rather just have a real Uncle Ben show.
Yes. Now that Marvel Zombies has aired, we do know that there was one.
Via Magic.
Yeah.
Right?
Carl Maxey, Sal, after you and Joel's podcast, I personally think they were pushing Boomerang so hard because they wanted to do the Kite Man thing. I
could see that.
I could see that. I mean, Kite Man has become a meme, and like people know him and love him. Like now, as a result of Tom King's interference, it didn't work. Nobody cares about Boomerang, but like good for them. Dan V900 is back to say, from a business perspective, if One More Day somehow gets retconned, that doesn't seem smart. So many more issues would sell with another brand new marriage. I don't know what that means. I feel like you'd have to compare the numbers from pre One More Day, post One More Day. Obviously, with a new initiative and marketing behind One More Day, you can't actually trust the numbers being that they were better when they undid the marriage. You can't quantify a story decision behind like a sales decision.
Well, yeah, but I think what he's saying is from the typical way in which you look at a comic book company, that like if they retcon One More Day, they're just going to be married.
Right.
If you don't retcon it and they get married again,
right,
you get to have a marriage issue.
You get to do the marriage issue. That's true. That's
get the
true.
Marriage
and
issue out of it.
That would sell because like the Catwoman Batman one did.
Right. Now, if you do the retcon, but somehow they have some memory of it or like whatever, maybe there's like some inkling within them that they should renew their vows.
Right. Yeah.
So
I could see that
issue.
Yeah, I could totally see that. And issue 1,000 of Spider-Man, which we're to like
874.
Yeah, we're 126 issues away from.
That's
not bad.
That's far.
It is far.
How long is that?
Yeah, that's like years.
Yeah,
so
that's years.
So no, they're not going to do that. But yeah. So anyway, what else did you read?
I'm going to hold this up because we kind of already talked about this, but this did come out. The Me You Love in the Dark issue 2 came out. I had already read this, so I kind of flipped through it again to remind myself what happened, because they sent us the 2 issues. So now I guess read new things when the next one comes out. This issue continues the story that we saw from the first one.
Wow, hard to believe.
Trying something new.
Oh, okay.
In terms of, sequential comics. Thanks, brain. You just kind of get to know the entity that lives in the house a little bit more so with this book, which I really dug.
Yeah.
She ends up finding a bit of like creative spark.
Good.
Because of it right at the end. And you're like, is this good? Is this bad? Is this a like healthy relationship or not? I don't know. But the look ahead of this shows that like we get a peek at what this thing looks like, and I adore it.
Yes.
Because it is creepy AF.
Sweet.
It's kind of a normal, like from a certain point down ish, like grasping her, and then everything from like the here up.
Yeah,
is like that's a lot of look.
That's great.
It's a lot of look going on there, but we get to see in a like couple of preview pages that like we're gonna be hitting onto the holidays here a little bit.
Okay.
So this is just a fun book for me because if you have any sort of creative endeavors, like I said, when the first issue came out, has to do a little bit with art block.
Yeah.
finding inspiration and like trying to not have imposter syndrome and all that, and also some sort of ghostly entity in a house. So it really ticks a lot of boxes for me.
Right.
Ticks a lot of boxes, and I love the art. It's written by Scotty Young with art by Jorge Corona. Just a beautiful looking book. So good.
Yeah.
So good, and I can't wait for the next issue.
Yay. I will briefly talk about Daredevil number 34.
Do it.
This issue is, of course, continuing the run, and towards the end of the Zdarsky run, Zdarsky is going to be dovetailing his run on Daredevil into a Daredevil event, which will be launching very shortly, which, who knows what will come after that, but, every great Daredevil run is frustratingly brief and has hopefully ends before it wears out its welcome. This is Daredevil has been exposed to a experimental mind-altering substance that was being used and experimented on via the prison warden and the prisoners themselves. It causes Daredevil to freak out and basically take over the prison, cause a huge riot. Cole, his old adversary / friend, arrives to calm him down. They have a big fight, and
so you're like, "Hey, buddy."
Yeah, he's like, "What's up, man? You look like a crazy person.
What you doing?
You're sitting on a throne of chairs and garbage, surrounded by unhinged prisoners. We got flames going on.
Looks like you had a big day.
Yeah, you might want to wrap it up, pal." Also, Bullseye is ravaging the city along with his clones, and so Electro Daredevil has to go deal with them, and it's just a great issue as usual. More Chichetto art is in this.
Hooray!
So that always is a treat at this point, and so I would recommend it.
Oh, that's funny. That's not what it says on the cover.
No, it's Chichetto and others. Like it's Chichetto and Matthew Wilson doing the art.
Oh, that's the cover.
Yeah.
Oh. No, it's not Chichetto. It's Stefano.
Oh, it's Stefano Landini.
I'm like, wait, no, that's not what it says.
There you go.
Is he doing is Stefano doing Chichetto-esque work?
It feels very Chichetto-y, but
Okay.
like it's not quite there.
Okay.
So I just assumed it was like he was doing outlines or breakdowns or something like that.
Yeah.
In any case, Chichetto, I believe, is doing the Daredevil event, which probably is why he's not.
That
doing
makes
this
sense,
book.
which is great.
But yeah, so I definitely recommend this.
I've
book.
been trying, as you've been had this up, I've been trying desperately to figure out what I'm looking at here. I think it's just shapes, but I was like, is that like a smile at the bottom?
Right? I think it
those
is.
Eyes.
I don't know.
But then what is it?
Right.
And I was like, it could just be,
just some shapes,
convenient paneling so that you can get the characters in stained glass.
I think that's what it is.
So I gave up on that one.
But it's great as usual. So
Hooray.
if you like Daredevil or you ever been on the fence, pick up the run. Don't pick up this issue. Scuba says, Sal, I just got to say you look like me and Andy brother. Do you have any Eberts in your family?
Me and my brother.
Oh, okay. No, I don't have any Eberts. Keep up the great work. Love your videos. Well, thank you very much, Scuba. Appreciate it, man. No, I don't. But thank you.
I bet you guys must be a couple of handsome dudes.
Aw, that's very kind of you. Thank you.
Nobody could see the gentle hand
caress.
touch.
Cosmic Reader, how about the Wolverine game reveal, huh? I feel bad for Xbox. Maybe they should make a deal to have exclusive Batman or Superman games. Yeah, maybe. I mean, like, it's not going to make me buy an Xbox.
That was the PlayStation reveal. Like
that was their conference.
They're coming to the table with their best of the best. So we'll see, obviously, what Xbox comes to the table with.
Yes.
But that was a huge showing, and I know we're not really here to talk about that, but like,
exciting. Great stuff.
I feel like did you ever remember that episode of South Park with Cartman wanting to freeze himself?
Oh yeah, to get the Nintendo Wii.
Yeah, that's me. I'm like, all right,
see you in 2022 or 3,
whatever it is.
Yeah,
because it's not only is it Wolverine, which looks great, and I can't believe it's by Insomniac. So what
is that like? Is Insomniac going to be like the Marvel producer?
I don't know, but
on?
the fact that it's like a seemingly Western, I'm like, is that what your sandbox is going to be? No pun intended.
Right.
Like that you're going to be like out in like almost like a Red Dead Redemption-esque like location, but with Wolverine.
Yeah.
I don't know. Spider-Man 2
looks great. Can't wait.
God of War Ragnarok.
Yep.
I'm jazzed. I was watching that, so I was like, what do you think? And I'm like, it's like coming home.
Aww.
Because it literally felt like just a continuation of the story, which I really appreciate.
Yeah.
Sometimes people go overboard trying to one up their sequel or what have you. But like
Yes.
this just feels completely in world. And then of course we saw KOTOR.
Yes, a KOTOR remake.
KOTOR remake and an Alan Wake remake.
Wow.
I was excited. Is it the future? Could it be
pretty exciting?
Yeah, that's right. So I'm here for it.
Yeah.
I'm here for it for sure. Should I talk about another book?
Yes, please.
I read Excalibur.
Great.
Let's chat about Excalibur real quick.
Yeah, please.
This involved Dr. Doom.
Mm-hmm.
Doom wanted to go. Doom wanted to go to Otherworld, to Avalon, which he doesn't realize Avalon has been fractioned into smaller like spoke wheels of like places.
Okay.
So he's like, I have to go to Avalon because like I hear like Morgan Le Fay got out and she has something of mine I want.
Right.
She has something I want.
Okay.
And I'm like, so what, you guys like, you just left a little something with her so she wouldn't forget you? Like what?
Yeah, probably. I mean, they used to sleep together, so.
Yeah. He was just like, whatever. But
yeah.
This Excalibur is about to get very Arthurian.
Okay.
Because Arthur's here. And we're talking about Mordred.
Mm-hmm.
And like they're throwing like, you know what I mean? Like they're tossing around like, just like it's Arthur's kid, like, more ghosts is like blah blah. Like and like, maybe Mordred's a mutant.
Oh,
so that's what we're getting into now.
Okay.
The reason to read this issue in particular is watching Doom be Doom in this setting, because you have Captain Britain, who's Betsy Braddock, who's like had a rough time of it.
Yeah.
And now she has to deal with Doom.
Right.
She's trying to be like, a knight in a way. Like she's using her like knightly skills to deal with Doom. And the rest of the team has to go too, which is hilarious.
Yay.
Because this team is like, it's Richter who's been dealing with Apocalypse. So he's like, who the hell are you? You're Dr. Doom. Listen, I was pals with Apocalypse.
Right.
Have you met Apocalypse?
He's like, ugh.
Right? Like, so Richter's not impressed by him. Megan shows up. And then, of course, you have Jubilee and Gambit.
Yeah. Right.
Jubilee's not having any of it because Doom attempted to, when he first like approached them about this, like Betsy was like, you have to use us to go through. You can't just go through the gate. That's the only way you can get through, and you need a mutant key, and we're not gonna help you unless you let us go with you. Okay. So Doom's like, okay, fine, and he leaves, and he comes back with his Doombots and a baby, and he's like, this is a mutant, and I'm going in, and they're like, you can't just use a baby.
Well, I am.
And he's like, it's Latvian. It's fine.
Yeah, he has a Latvian island of mutants.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And there's a baby. Because it can't fight back.
Right. What a jackass.
So she was like, give me that. So she drops Shogo and the baby off. Gambit's like, he's just not having it.
Yeah.
He's not a fan of Doom. But he's a fan of going where they end up having to go. Because they head off into Otherworld and they immediately end up having to go to the marketplace.
Okay.
To the
market. To Mad Jim Jasper's market?
Yes. Yeah. And so who do they have to talk to? But they got to talk to Mad Jim Jasper.
Sweet.
And so Doom's like,
oh no! This guy could unmake me.
Okay. But he's Doom like all the way through. And like Jim Jaspers has a box. And he's like, this is all that's left of like her items. He won't show him what's in it.
Okay.
And then we cut away to Gambit and the crew gambling. Gambit's like, don't worry, I can figure out any game. And so like he's gonna do it with that Doom baby. I love that.
Yeah.
Gambit's like, I can learn any game. He's trying to play this game. He's like, I don't know. But he has swiped Saturnine's tarot deck.
Oh,
and so
shit.
Gambit's been using the cards to get into things and do things. He's like, I think I figured out how they work. At one point, Betsy attempts to deal with Merlin in the last issue because Merlin has kind of like waged war on Saturnine, which is fair because Merlin used to be in her role.
Yeah.
If you're a fan of like Saturnine history, this is also going to be delving into this part of the run. So this might be something you might want to pick up if you're interested at all in like her relationship with not only the Braddocks, but also Otherworld, Merlin, Roma Regina, Jim Jaspers. Yeah. And then throwing Arthur into all of this as well.
Right.
But Gambit used the I think the Wheel of Fortune card as like a luck card in order to unlock a door that they needed to. He's like, I think I'm figuring this out. So he ends up like pulling one of those cards out of his sleeves to like win.
Sweet.
Which causes huge issue. We cut back to Doom, and I love this like conversation because it's like Jim Jaspers and Doom, and Doom's like, he's had enough. He's like, what do you? He's like ready to like
blow
torch
a
the
gasket
place because like essentially Jim Jaspers was like, you can have the box. Just tell me what you think it is I want for it. And Doom's like, just tell me what you want.
Just give me the box.
I ask you to strike a deal with me, and you give me riddles. But don't you know I can have anything? Just tell me what you think it is that I want.
Okay.
Doom's like, okay, just gonna have a problem. Doom inevitably like is like, oh, what do you want? Like all of Latveria and like the Doombots? He's like, I could deal with that.
Right.
Because he's like,
yeah, what are you doing?
You actually can't promise that because the way they have to do that is through our gate, so you can't make that deal. They do make a deal.
Oh.
I don't know if it is for that. I don't know if Jim Jaspers now has the right to call on Doom or not, because Doom walks away with that box.
Okay, cool.
In that box is Morgan's castle.
Oh.
But tiny.
All right, fine.
And like Doom wants a scrying pool within it.
Okay.
Because like he knows that like there's a power to it, and that's what he wants. Meanwhile, like so there are these like automaton things called the Furies. Or the Fury, and there was a Fury that was created by Mad Jim Jaspers, which I believe caused the downfall of like the Citadel originally, or like the Starlight Citadel, and like forced Merlin out of his position and let Saturnine go into it.
Gotcha.
There's like a land of them in Otherworld right now.
Oh,
and so Merlin awakens Arthur, who then turns the Furies onto any friend of Mordred, essentially.
Gotcha.
And so like they're starting to think that Mordred might be a mutant,
right?
And I'm like, all right, cool. I'm yes.
Yeah, that's cool.
This is very
Arthurian.
Yes.
Or it's like it's really in the weeds with it.
Yes.
Which is fun.
Yes. Oh, also, I believe in the last issue, just as a heads up, Pete Wisdom's brought back.
Okay.
And he has a list of people he wants to have brought back as well, because he's no longer welcomed in England. He has no job anymore.
Oh.
Because mutants aren't like welcome there.
Oh, okay.
So he can't go back. And he essentially calls forth old members of Strike.
Okay.
Like the Agents of Strike.
All right.
So I'm like,
I'm not too familiar with Strike.
Yeah.
So.
Well, he really didn't have any like he didn't really work with them, but Betsy has. So I think we're going to see that play out as well.
That makes sense.
But like we're getting very heavily into we're getting more heavily into some Excalibur lore.
Great.
You know, with that book, even though we have like some newer characters like Gambit and Jubilee on the team, we're getting a little more into it. So fans of Excalibur, this might be more your wheelhouse.
Fair enough.
I don't know.
Sweet.
Give it a shot.
All right. I read Batman Catwoman #7.
Did you?
Yeah, the reason why I'm bringing this up, besides the fact that I enjoy it, is that the new artist on it is Liam Sharp.
Yeah.
Which, was kind of a disappointment for me. Not that like Liam Sharp is bad, but more that like I like a mini series to have the same team, just for completeness sake and theme. It should feel the same, but there is a significant shift you feel from the art change, and there's a couple of great big crazy moments that, while I appreciated, I also was like, they don't make any sense. So you're seeing the strings as far as Tom King's concerned. I love King on this book, but I've had issues with his work in the past, and I'm starting to see them a little bit in this issue. But I still enjoyed the bulk of it. And the only issue I had was just like, I really enjoyed the issue and this big crazy moment in it that I don't want to spoil.
Okay.
But also it's just kind of like, but how did that happen? But how did you do this thing? And it's one of those things that Grant Morrison would just get mad at me for asking,
Yeah.
And to be like, what? Who cares how the Batmobile works? But it's also like, but you want me to buy that these are human beings that do all these things that adults do. Anyway, it's a fun issue. I did enjoy it, and I still liked the art despite the significant change.
Right.
It is a very strong change. I don't know if Sharp's on it for the next half of the book, but I will say that the art is so different from the Liam Sharp that we saw on Green Lantern or the Liam Sharp we're seeing in Reptilian. So it's just he's so versatile.
Oh, that's cool. I hope he is, though, on the rest of it, because to have another change.
I know, just to change it back, it shows that you just wanted the book to come out monthly. Yeah. And like years later, no one will care. Like the month after issue 12 drops, no one's going to give a shit that the book was late.
Yeah. No, but like if like listen, like if you need to change artists, only do it one time.
Yep.
Don't do it again.
Yeah, you
Not for a
can't
mini.
change it
Not
back.
for this isn't an ongoing. Don't do it. Like
Exactly.
you just got to stick with it.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess if they do go back, that's fine.
Yeah, but
one
just,
weird issue.
But like, no, you have a
Wow,
thin.
this is very different.
Isn't it different? Yeah, it's very different. Still works. I still dig it.
It's what this is a tonal shift.
Yep, completely.
That's what I would be concerned about.
Yeah, but it is like there is a shift,
okay,
and I think it's supposed to be felt, or they found a way
mm-hmm.
to make it work. So I dig it. Check it out. Obviously don't read this issue by itself. You're not going to know what the hell's going on. Yeah.
I have more.
I know you do.
Super chats or whatever.
Yeah, let me get into those really quick.
Okay.
Sean D, Tiffany, what are you playing? Because I need some new games.
I'm playing the same stuff that everybody's playing right now. But I'm going through Ghost of Tsushima right now.
Yes.
I love that game. I am playing the DLC of it currently.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, if you grab the game and you have a PS5, get the director's cut just because you'll get the Iki Island expansion as well with it, and you get that nice PS5 bump in terms of graphics, and it is felt. You can play the DLC once you get into Act 2, which is super nice. For me, I had not finished Act 2 because I was playing it live, then I kind of stopped playing it, then I started playing it on my own.
Yeah.
That came out, I was like, oh my gosh, I can actually just jump into Iki Island, and so I did that. And I'm not going to say anything about what actually happened, so no one else put any spoilers in the chat for people who haven't played this game. Please don't put spoilers in the chat. I was playing Act 2. I completed Act 2. I began Act 3, and then I rolled my save back.
Yeah.
Because I was playing Iki Island, and I wasn't prepared for what happened, and I got to tell you, there's just some games that resonate with a person, and I'm not saying it's going to resonate with everybody. That game wrecked my day that day. I was distraught from the events that happened between Act 2 and 3.
Yeah.
No spoilers in that chat. I don't want to see them.
Right.
And I'm keeping an eye on it. But that's kind of the big thing I'm playing right now. I've gone back to also playing some Horizon Zero Dawn because obviously that next game is coming out as well.
Yeah.
And if you're looking for a game and you haven't played Control.
No, yeah.
And you like superhero games or even sci-fi or things that are a little like weird,
right?
I recommend that game. That was a lot of fun. There's a lot of story to it, and there is also DLC for that. It's in the same universe as Alan Wake without it being like it is directly connected, but like it doesn't have the
it's
same
not like
feel.
a sequel to Alan
It
Wake.
does not have the same feel at all.
Yeah.
So I recommend Control.
Cool. Kali Frederick, Doom has been really getting around a lot lately. Yeah. Yeah, they're putting him in everything, and it's very like...
Oh, he's getting around.
Oh,
Wink.
yeah.
By the way, he has a moment with Betsy where like she stands up to him. She's like, okay, Doom.
Right.
And he's like, he grabs her by the chin. And he's like, if Doom ever needs a bride, I might consider you.
What?
She's like, back off. He's like, but that said, don't talk to me like that.
Right. I think he's getting married in the Dan Slott book, and then it didn't work out.
Yeah. So,
Yeah. Lawrence Perry, a coin for you, good sir. Well, thank you, Lawrence.
Oh,
really appreciate it, man. Thank you so much.
Cause a coin to your
Witcher,
streamers.
to your streamer. Yeah. Dan V900, Liam Sharp is on Batcat for 789, which supposedly Clayman will finish the last 3. Man couldn't even do a bi-monthly. I still wish the past Catwoman was in purple with the coloring to delineate it. Yeah. Well, there you go. Yeah, that's too bad. Because I feel like it'd be cool if he just kind of like wrapped it up by himself. It just shows, you just couldn't get the guy to finish the damn book. That's too bad.
Yeah. I got 2 more books.
Let's hear them.
I keep punching this mic.
I know.
I can't. I talk with my hands too much.
Me too.
That's what the problem is.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just this. I'm constantly casting spells. I read Defenders #2.
Yes, I'm glad you checked it out. How was it?
It's written by storytellers are Al Ewing and Javier Rodriguez, with art also by Javier Rodriguez. I think it's just how they're doing the storytelling. That credit.
Okay.
This book is great. I like Javier's art. I do feel like this issue was a little looser.
Mm-hmm.
I still like it, but there were more instances and panels where I was like, okay, that was the decision.
Yeah.
I wasn't in particular this panel.
Is this not Marcos Martin?
Is that who was supposed to do it?
I think it's both. Or Javier is doing the covers. I don't know.
Oh. Well, I mean, I looked at the page.
I know. Well, if the page says it, then that's that.
See?
Yeah, you were right.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it just reminds me of Marcos Martin. That's weird.
Well, either they printed the wrong thing or. But anyway, there's like a couple of panels here or there.
Yeah.
Like this one, I'm like super long neck, really weird. Like
yeah.
But they're few and far between. And overall, I like the look and feel of this book. This book, of course, dealing with Strange's hastily put together Defenders team, and they're like traveling through time. Although that opening page is spectacular.
Wow. Yeah, that's right. I remember you showing me
this is a spectacular splash page opening, sort of like begin the book. Here it is. They've gone back to the sixth cosmos where the Omnimax, the devourer of that like universe is. But so is the mother of Galactus.
Yes.
So we get to see baby Galactus.
Yay.
He's just cute. He's in like a little like special thing that takes care of him entirely.
Oh, look at him.
His mom doesn't even like deal with him because she's like, no, he has everything he needs here and I have to save the world. She and Strange have a moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, where he's like, well, hello. And she's like, hello. She says he's handsome. He's like, oh,
well, thank you.
Silver Surfer's having a narration. He's like, oh, Steven, not now.
Oh, Steven,
stop.
That's
Just
awesome.
keep it in your pants for like a second, man.
Love
Come
it.
on. This is the mother of the devourer of our universe.
Yeah.
He's like, so?
Right? Come on.
They have a term for that. Surfer, okay?
Yeah.
I'm not going to say it here, but you know what's up. Come on. This issue is very heavy for Silver Surfer. Silver Surfer does a lot of like introspection because like obviously he's watching this world fall and he's having this moment of like thinking of Zen-La and like the decision he made, and he's like, is this what will happen here? Is this what it is? Like,
that's cool.
Then he sees Galen as a child and like he reaches out and like you see his like hands like powering up.
Think he's gonna kill him?
Yeah, and that's when the Masked Raider shows up and is like, you know, I can't let you do that. I can't let you change time. You know, like I'm beholden to that. And he's like, oh, you thought I was gonna kill him? No, I'm just like dazzling him with like a light show.
Oh, that's sure.
Because no, what he does is he picks him up. Like he wants to get his attention. He picks him up and he continues to do that. And what he ends up doing is like giving him knowledge. And like it's like a knowledge of like sorrow and joy and other such things, so that like when he hungers he feels bad about
it.
And like I was
awesome.
like, because like he says that like in his narration he's like, you know, this devourer here, the Omnimax, seems to revel in destruction and consumption,
right?
But our Galactus does it because he has to, and like, he often has like battled with it. And like this book basically made it so that it's the Silver Surfer that gives him that.
I like that a lot.
I was like, that's neat. You're saying that this always happens. The Silver Surfer comes back like gives him that like bit of like internal conflict about what he's doing.
That's really cool.
I'm like, that's interesting.
Yeah, I like that.
They essentially Galen's mom creates like an empathy cube. She calls it a mother cube.
It's like a mother box.
Yeah, and like it's meant to like affect the Omnimax so that he does feel bad about things.
Okay, all right.
We see that Carlo Zota, who the Masked Raider was trying to chase after in the first place, that's why the Defenders were brought together, has arrived, and he is the Omnimax's herald.
Okay.
So Silver Surfer and he like clash, and Silver Surfer inevitably ends up taking his power.
Oh.
He's like, this guy is actually more powerful than I am, but I've had the power cosmic longer than he does, and so I know how to use it.
Right.
And so he's like, and I know how to take it.
That's awesome.
And so he pulls it from him. And like Strange can't use magic right now because it's so out of whack.
Okay.
Because of what he did and the magic he tapped into by accident.
Yeah.
He inevitably ends up needing to use it in order to like shoot the emotions from the box at the Omnimax.
Yeah.
And that ends up like overloading his magic, and they are thrown through time yet again back to the 5th universe.
Yeah.
Where we see Muradun, who is a character Al Ewing created, I think back in like 2005 or something like that.
Yeah.
Or 2015. It's one of those two. I don't know. So we're just hopping at this point.
Right.
I dig it. It's fun. And like, I'm wondering if each individual like character who's on the team is going to have like kind of a spotlight issue, since this is I think a mini. So it looks cool.
Even if it isn't, it will be.
It looks cool. It has that edge of like being a more like, underground kind of comic, having that retro vibe to it.
Totally.
And it's just a bunch of people going on an adventure.
I love
it.
Like
throwing you in the deep end with characters you may not be super familiar
Totally.
with. So I dig it.
That's great.
And I have one more after that.
Okay.
Because we have to talk about X-Force.
That's true.
We actually have to talk about X-Force.
All right. Can we talk about X-Force? Do we
do you have a minute? Can we talk about can we just like talk about X-Force here?
I think we got to talk about X-Force.
Do you know what happens in X-Force?
No, I have no idea.
Okay. This is an issue that they said you had to read.
That's
that was
awesome.
in the description. They're like,
this
is an issue you must read.
Sure. Which has been
like,
really
okay, why not?
I'm really busy. I missed a lot of books this week.
Well, no, but like,
yeah,
this wouldn't have been on your.
No, I didn't even hear. Well, I didn't hear anything.
Like, it's fine, and nothing super huge happens, but it's setting stuff up apparently.
Okay, like, great.
Okay. It's written by Ben Percy with art by Martin
Kokolo.
Yeah.
Or Cocholo.
I
don't know.
I'm bad at words. Beast is a jerk.
Yep.
And he says that like a lot of people are like, I miss like Nice Beast. He literally says that.
Who says that?
Beast.
About himself?
About himself.
Okay.
But he's like, that's not what they need right now. They need a bastard.
Oh my God, you've been a bastard for like 5-10 years.
Stop. But like he's commenting on the fact that like somewhere in Cerebro there is that version of him.
Oh.
And like he's died one time and he doesn't want to die again because he's concerned that they'll play with it.
They're like, we're done with this guy.
We're done with this. Just
we know where he ends up, so it's not like it's
bring Nice Beats back.
Yeah.
Just enough of that.
It's fair.
There okay. So the Xeno group, the guy with the peacock face.
Mm-hmm.
He is working with Mikhail Rasputin.
Oh.
And providing him with like an army of like forced, like they're mutants in that way that like this guy grew them to be like that.
Okay.
All right. They have a special set of skills that make it a nightmare to deal with, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Mikhail does not get the number he wants. This book has this moment, and I'm like, okay. Because they're out in Siberia. They're in Siberia. It is a snowstorm. They arrive via rail. Mikhail is there in his grandiose cloak.
Yep.
He's huge and posing. He's upset. And then you hear someone scream because as they've been chatting, a polar bear or an ice bear has shown up and he's huge and he's just wrecking stuff. And I'm like, I feel like you might have seen that coming. Yeah. But I mean, if it is like a blizzard or whiteout, maybe not, right?
Yeah.
So he rips into one of the guys. All the mutants like start showing off the goods they've got. Like one of them has like an arm that can like shoot off and then be pulled back. And they've got all kinds of powers. But their main power that they have that makes them the nightmare is the fact that they create like nesting doll-esque versions of themselves. Polar bear ate a chunk of the guy. So then a little tiny version of the guy bursts out. And all of his like pals are like, yeah.
That's so stupid.
And he's little.
Okay.
They have been on Krakoa before. They were all going like those bodies of the little nesting doll versions of them were going to be burnt, but be like grabbed one because he wanted to study it. Right?
Sure. Yeah.
So he cuts it open with his scalpel, and like this thing's tiny. When you see the size of like the scalpel blade going into it, it's tiny. And when he does that, an even tinier version bursts out of him.
Of course.
Beast is like he smushes it. And from that, an even tinier.
Oh my God.
Crawls into Beast's ear and it's in him and he's like, okay, I have to deal with this because I don't want to die because I don't want to come back as good Beast. And so he ends up needing to get Tom Cassidy to help him with that by like growing a little tiny guy to go in and fight him.
What?
The dude inside of him. And so that's what Beast is doing right now.
Awesome.
Mikhail takes the gentleman in charge of Xeno and puts him into a like he puts him into timeout, basically.
Okay.
He's like, you didn't give me the number I wanted. You're the kind of person who's going to betray me. You're kind of a dick.
Right.
At what point will you be like trying to like backstab me? I'm just gonna take care of this right now. I won't kill you though. Always the villain mistake.
Yep, of course.
So he leaves him to kind of think about life, right? We get an opportunity to read a speech that Mikhail gives in front of like the government of Russia, and like everyone's on board, right?
Yeah.
They don't like Krakoa. It's not a mutant issue. They just don't like Krakoa.
Sure.
Well, because like Mikhail is a mutant.
Oh yeah,
and,
yeah.
Moscow supports their mutants.
Yeah, right. Okay.
And then we reveal that behind all of this is a writer. And it's a writer who's like helping him not only write his speeches, but to make things happen.
Okay.
Who kind of looks like a Russian version of Jonathan Hickman. So this is setting up some future ongoings, apparently based on, again, just that one thing where it's like, hey, you might want to read this if you want to have an idea of what's happening or what's coming at some point. I'm just excited because it's an opportunity to get Colossus back into this, because I think this is the book he was in originally.
I think so.
So I think this is a chance to bring him back in, because a lot of people have been missing Colossus being involved with things. We got to see him at the gala. I think that got everybody all up in arms again about what's Colossus up to right now. He hasn't been in a book. Bring him back. That's exciting.
Yep.
There you go.
Agreed. Yay. All right. That sounds like fun.
I don't know why that bear thing got me so much, but it did. It's just this huge bear, and he's just like, oh, I'm starving. And then a little man jumps out of it, and all his friends are like, yeah, that's right, buddy.
Yeah, it's cute.
Little version of you.
Right. Weird.
Hell yeah.
All right. That's X-Force. Kevin Myers, speaking of Doctor Doom, did you ever read Cantwell's Doom miniseries? If so, what'd you think? I liked it until the ending. Stay safe. Thank you, Kevin. Yeah, I read it. I enjoyed it, and I didn't enjoy it. It was one of those weird things where it was like it was fun, and then it wouldn't be, and then it was again, and it made me a little cautious about the Iron Man book. It's fine.
Okay.
Like, yeah, it's fun, and it isn't at the same time. It's like, oh, this is okay. Abe Sapien, hey guys, just wanted to thank you for introducing me to both Brian K. Vaughan and Chip Zdarsky.
Oh, yay.
Well, I'm happy to do that. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
As a Venom and Swamp Thing fan, what did they do? What they did with the characters was amazing. All right, the Brian K. Vaughan Swamp Thing run, yeah. Although I don't know what Zdarsky did with Venom. I feel like that was Donny Cates that you might be thinking of. But
Chip Zdarsky is
great.
Zdarsky
is pretty great. No matter what. You can't go wrong with those two creators.
No, those are two solid creators.
Denial. Tiffany, how'd you feel about removing the magic that has a price rule from Doctor Strange in the first issue of the Defenders?
They didn't. I think he mentions that like this one's gonna cost him something.
Yeah.
I think he just goes for it though.
Right.
I listen. I appreciate what Aaron did with that story. Like I love Aaron's run and like introducing that. I feel like it was one of those things where it was like once they opened that box, they couldn't go back.
Yeah.
And like that's what he's been defined by at this point. And if they had given the, like, in my opinion, from my subjective point of view, the appropriate amount of time from like there's no magic in the world to magic is back.
Yeah.
And like Strange is constantly thinking about that cost then, because he's just like, I just got it back.
Yeah.
Like, we're back up and running, and I really need to think about this going forward. That would be okay. But like they brought it back quickly, and then they're like, let's not forget about that. And then Wade tried to introduce that, like, you know, magical accountant that was like balancing, but you know what I mean? It got a little ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I'm glad they like referred to it,
but not dwell on it,
but not defining.
Yeah. Kelly Frederick says he's hyped for Daredevil 35. Matt, Mary, and Elektra team up. Agreed. Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. Jonathan Smiley, love you guys and hope you're doing well. Thank you very much, Jonathan. We hope you're doing well too. Love to hear your thoughts on Hellions number 15. It was crazy.
I haven't read it yet.
Yeah, no, there's a lot that we haven't read yet, but
I haven't read it yet.
Been really busy, but yeah,
that was on the list. But then when I knew we were like going to be reviewing the movie as well, I was like, that's not going to happen.
It's not going to make it.
We're an hour into this.
Yeah.
We haven't even touched on the movie.
No, but I do want to mention this is like a reverse recommend, because I don't know how many books you have left.
I'm done.
Okay, me too. So like, here's a couple of books that I wanted to read that I didn't get a chance to this week. So I figured we'd just share that, because I really meant to read Infinite Frontier number 6, which I did buy.
Yes, I really meant to read The Nice House on the Lake, but I left it at home and didn't bring it in to read at lunch today. I really wanted to read Savage Avengers.
Yep, I wanted to read Green Lantern number 6 and Suicide Squad Get Joker number 2, Blue and Gold number 2, and Shang-Chi number 4.
I didn't even see that came out, and that's been one of the books that I've really been enjoying, because I've read all 3 of the Shang-Chi so far, and I enjoyed every one of them. And it's something to do with the Fantastic Four. Maybe that's what it was.
Yeah,
Not always the biggest Fantastic Four fan.
I also meant to read Justice League Infinity number 3, because I really enjoy that series. And
I wanted to read The Conjuring.
Yeah. I know.
And I wanted to read The Unbelievable Unteens. I think that's actually sitting in my Comixology cart.
I believe it is. Yeah. Didn't you want to read Avengers Tech On #2?
No, I'm okay. I read the first one, and I'm happy that other people got to find out about it because of it, because we talked about it. But I don't think that's a book for me.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just I'm not. My mech style is really sad, depressed people piloting mechs against their will because their dad has a really like ill-conceived plot.
That's very specific.
He would like to make happen.
While I didn't get a chance to talk about it, I did read Not All Robots #2, and it is bizarre and crazy, and I know Ethan would love it.
Oh, I also wanted to read Swamp Thing.
Yes.
There were so many books that I wanted to read.
Mm-hmm. So before we jump into Shang-Chi, let's talk about some books that are coming out this week that we think you should check out.
Let's talk about some books that we're going to read.
Yes, and probably talk about
the other ones. Good Lord, I'm gonna have to block out a day.
Mm-hmm.
I've got Marauders #24 is coming out. Eternals Thanos Rises #1.
That's the new series that comes out of the Eternals series.
So that's going to be written by Kieran Gillen. I believe the artist is Dustin Weaver. It's changed from Asad Ribic.
It is, yes.
So he'll still be doing the covers. So you
get aware. That consistency.
But I was going to say, be aware of that art shift. That
you're
going to open that cover. It's not going to be Ribic on the inside.
Mm-hmm. Yep. The Joker #7 is coming out. I need to catch up more on the series from Time of the Fourth and Sam Johns and Sweeney Boo. This is, it's a great Jim Gordon book, but we'll see where it goes. I have become less and less excited about this series as we go forward with more of James Tynion IV's original characters, so who knows. The Trial of Magneto continues, #2 from Leah Williams and Jonathan Hickman and Lucas Wernick. This is the event.
Yeah.
And no one's talking about it.
I saw you had it, so I didn't.
Yeah, and I know you're down.
I'm down.
Right?
I'm in.
Superman and the Authority #3 from Morrison and Mikhail Yanin. This is a great series. It's crazy. When does it happen? Who knows? Who cares? Just a nutso book and very self-referential and fun. Kang the Conqueror #2 comes out from Jackson Lansing and Colin Kelly and Carlos Mango. This series is cool and interesting. I liked the first issue until you told me it was Rick and Morty.
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's totally fine. But the issue was great. I'm excited to see where it goes from there. Urban Legends #7, of course, Batman. Urban Legends #7 is coming out. Zdarsky is off the series. This is Jackson Lansing, Colin Kelly, and Max Dunbar doing this book. This is a great anthology. The cover was sick. I can't wait to see more. Fantastic Four Life Story #4 is another book I got to pick up more of. Mark Russell, Sean is Ka-Zar. I really like this concept, and I really enjoyed the first issue. I need to just catch up on the next 3 issues after that. And I'm mentioning this as an honorable mention. I've not read more than 2 issues of Rorschach, but it is ending. And while I was not a big fan of the first 2 issues of Rorschach from Tom King and Jorge Fornes, despite the art being phenomenal, Tom King himself asked me to give it another try, and I will, and I promised him I would, but I'm doing it via reading the whole damn thing at once.
Yeah.
I don't think I would have stuck with it if I had been reading it month to month. It's one of those things where it's like I reviewed The Wildstorm by Warren Ellis and John Davis Hunt back when we used to do stuff for DC, and I enjoyed it, but each issue was so boring that I couldn't bring myself to review it anymore. And I'll bet it's good. I'll bet I could enjoy it, but we'll see, but I never got a chance to sit down and read the whole damn thing. But this is one of those things where I'm going to do just that. Now I can. And Just League Last Ride from Zdarsky and Miguel Mendoza is another fun series. It's like a weird Elseworlds book that could take place in the current continuity because who cares what's going on with Martian Manhunter right now. But yeah, it's just this little Who Asked for This Justice League book about that looks very similar to our own, plus the cartoon. If you like the Justice League cartoon show, you're probably gonna enjoy this. It's just a fun book. Those are recommendations for this week.
Absolutely.
Which I think you should check out. W Vang 0013 says comic Shang-Chi and movie Shang-Chi are very different from each other. With the movie being a huge hit, do you think Marvel will change him to be like his movie version, like they did with Star-Lord?
I would say the current run on Shang-Chi kind of has that vibe a little bit. I mean, from his original roots in terms of the type of character and the reason he was created, I think it's probably a good thing.
Yeah, I agree
that it's a little different. That doesn't mean listen, am I the biggest
Shang-Chi fan of all time?
Shang-Chi fan of all time? No, I'm not. Like he's come across books that I've read as like a member of like, an
Other
ensemble
things.
cast,
Yeah. Same here.
occasionally. So like I've just been, dipping my toe in with the Shang-Chi current series.
Yes.
The closest things really I read the Immortal Weapons
Yes,
books.
you did.
But I don't know if it's a bad thing necessarily. But I do get the fear of like the movies influencing the comics in that way.
Yes, I don't like it, but in this particular case, as long as here's the thing, you don't need to do it. Like the movie raises the awareness. There is a miniseries. It's literally on the shelf as the movie came out.
Yep.
So, and it's right by Jin Yang, so it's great.
Yeah,
so
it is.
Yeah. But we are going to talk now about Shang-Chi the movie, which we ended up seeing in the theaters.
Yep.
Via a special circumstance that I won't get into, but
it happened and it was great.
We were able to see it and we were able to be safe and healthy, and it worked out great. But we did see it yesterday. So Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. If you are running out to the theater and you don't have time for a review, do you recommend the movie?
Yes.
Same here.
Highly recommended, actually.
So now let's get into the nitty gritty,
yes,
Tiffany.
And I want to listen. We're going to struggle through pronunciation here.
Oh
okay?
yeah, I already pronounced his name Shang originally.
I know. No, we're going to struggle with this for a number of reasons. One, I'm trying desperately to remember what I heard them pronounce it in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I don't always have the greatest memory for like audio cues like
right,
that.
Yeah.
Second of all, we're from New Jersey. We already have an accent.
Yes.
That's very distinctive to us. So just bear with us.
Yeah.
Bear with us.
I'm American. I don't have an accent.
Oh my
but
gosh,
yeah,
really?
Destin Cretton directed this movie with a screenplay by Dave Callahan, Destin Cretton, and Andrew Lanham. This movie is obviously an origin story. It introduces you to Shang-Chi. It reintroduces you to the Ten Rings for the third time, I believe. First time was Iron Man 1.
Yes.
Second time was Iron Man 3.
Yes.
And the third time is this one. It also introduces you to a number of characters, but I was expecting it to be kind of MCU heavy, and it really only isn't until you get to the post-credit scenes, which we will get into.
Yes.
I will say we are going to get into spoilers, so if you haven't seen
that's going to happen. We'll give you a minute.
Yeah, but I'm going to give you a second to either drop out or plug your ears or whatever.
But this is the rest of the show.
But this is the rest of the show.
Like spoilers will be dropped, and it'll just end up happening.
Yes.
Typically accidentally, even if we try.
This is true. But so a quick and dirty outline of what Shang-Chi was. It's an origin story. It introduces you to Shang-Chi, into his family, into the legend of his father, and what his empire has grown into. Introduces you to the world that you're dealing with, the mystical city that they came from. No, not Kunlun. But it introduces you to the rules, the magic or mysticism that is involved within their world, and does a really nice job of just kind of introducing you to these characters that are on the fringe of the Marvel Universe, without making it integral to the Marvel Universe, without making it dependent or reliant on the Marvel Universe. I feel like if Shang-Chi was a movie that was produced by a separate studio 15 years ago, it would have been very much the same type of movie. Like this is very much just, it's about these characters, it's about this world, they introduce it to you, and it doesn't take a lot of time or effort to like tether it to the Marvel Cinematic Universe at large. It doesn't, in a post-Endgame world, didn't need it. Like could have come early, could have come later, didn't matter. So what do you think?
I mean, like when we left, we were talking about on the way home, and this is a character that not everyone's super familiar with. Which
is fair to say.
I mean, I think a lot of people know by name, have heard of the character, at least in the comic book going universe, but like beyond that, not necessarily a character that a lot of folk might know about.
No.
So naturally we got to do some kind of origin story here. And it would have been super easy and super lazy to do the standard origin story. But I feel like this particular film treated us like adults with an origin story.
Yeah.
They're not afraid to kind of like, here's a little info. I'm going to kind of drop you into it and just know that I'm not going to let you drown.
Yeah.
You're going to be okay.
Right. It's one of those things where if you want to get a little bit more, like the comments might be a little more cynical about it, I'd be like, don't forget it's a Marvel movie.
Oh, for sure.
Like it's one of those things where it's like,
you're still going to do it. Like, listen, it's a superhero film. That's not a 4-letter word. It's
Right.
not a bad word. All
Yeah.
right. It's just a type of film. And there's plenty of other movies out there. If you're not a fan of superhero films, you don't have to watch it.
That's true.
Unless you make money off of reviewing movies. Then I'm sorry. You're gonna have to watch it. But you know, like even as a like superhero film, it has like its own style of genre here as well. But going back to my like the origin story,
Yes.
we've seen it happen before where it's like here, like it would have been really easy to be like, let's introduce him and let's learn about how, like, you know, like we'll watch him grow as a martial artist, or like as, you know,
we watch him in real time. We start where he's a little boy, we watch him grow, we do montages.
Yep, we could have done all of that. We could have watched as like, oh, the 10 rings don't have them. They gotta go find them. Oh, it's a quest, it's a MacGuffin now, right?
Yeah.
No, Dad's already got them. You know, when we see Shang as an adult, we have no idea.
Yeah.
He just busts out in a huge fight, and it's like, okay,
yeah,
this kid's already trained.
Right. Thank you.
You do tell me that, but I didn't need it for the context of that scene first.
Right. Yeah. Movie's 2 hours long, and it's one of those things where it's 2 hours long, and they end up using every scene and relying on it. It's not just like we were talking about it earlier. I was like, you could have cut this down to about 90 minutes.
Sure.
But you would have kind of hacked the bone. Like you could have summed it all up. You could have given us a really trimmed down version if you were one of those, like, if you let people like the head of Marvel do what they did. You know, if you didn't believe that, like, minorities and women didn't sell action figures, like, you could have just been like, give me the short version.
Sure.
You know, you could have cut a lot of scenes that, like, don't really... that only work towards the character, but still end up being valuable.
Yes.
Like, the movie is it's 2 hours. It doesn't feel like 2 hours. I don't think it felt like that. And it's one of those things where I have seen MCU movies where I'm like thinking about what's going to be next, what's going to be linking it towards, what's going to happen. And there's a great moment where, and you've seen it in the trailer, where Shang Chi is taken to an underground fighting ring, and you see Abomination. And Abomination they just use this as an opportunity to be like, Abomination looked like bullshit in an Incredible Hulk. Now people are used to it. Here he is. He looks more like the comic book counterpart. And Wong's fighting him. And Shang-Chi doesn't get anywhere near that fight. And then it just wraps up, and like they're like working together or something. There's something going on. That is the closest thing.
Oh no, they're apparently they fix fights.
Right.
Like the two of them are in on it.
Yeah. Like, what? So, but you get that, and that's the biggest, like, moment outside of post credits, which I don't really count as part of the movie.
Yeah.
So it's like, I appreciate that, because that was a little bit of like that's your Marvel moment.
Well, yeah. Also,
we're gonna focus mostly on the movie.
In that same sequence, Helen is one of the Black Widows.
Yes,
she's one of the widows.
Really?
Yeah. Helen's one of the widows who escaped.
Oh,
I read that someplace.
Okay. Cool.
I was like, oh, okay, that's fun.
Yeah. So, you know, that's the scene where you get all the Marvel stuff out of the way. And then the rest of it, you don't have to worry about, like, what...
up until a little later on when they drop a character, but that character is related to this now.
Yes.
Like, he's part of this, and they had to address it. And I appreciate it. Like, he's not intrinsically tied to the mythology at all, but they needed to address it, and they get to do it in a funny way, and good for them.
Right.
But yeah, like, they're like, this is set in the Marvel universe. You know, Wong is there.
Yeah.
Abomination is there.
Yep. Black Widows, extremist people.
Yep.
You're like, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Like, they're there.
They're there. And they reference, like, the half population snap and all that stuff. Like, they mention the blip. They do all that.
Yep. But they don't, like,
dwell on it. They don't lean on it like a crutch.
No.
It's just there.
No. They're like, this movie is in the MCU, but it's not going to rest its laurels on that.
Right.
It's going to do its own thing as well.
It's one of those things where it's like, you could have, like, they could have made it after Iron Man. And, like, I would have been surprised, but it would have been kind of neat. Probably wouldn't have done as well. But, like, actually, who knows? Now, in a post-COVID world, who the hell knows? But, like, because it comes out now, you kind of can't just do an Iron Man again, because it's part of a bigger world. Like, you gotta make it connected. Anyway, for the most part, you could actually cut those out and make a shorter movie by just making it direct. But you get a lot of origins in this. You get the origin of Shang's father. You get an origin of Shang's sister. You get an origin of Shang himself. You get, like, a coming of, an awakening for his best friend Katie. You get an introduction of a mystical city.
Yeah.
You get the real introduction of the 10 Rings organization.
Yes.
You get you get the underground fighting ring, which could be a thing like going forward that you could use.
Sure.
Mythological characters and creatures,
Mhm.
and more, which is kind of really awesome that they managed to balance it all out in only 2 hours and give you a beginning, middle, and end story with
Mhm.
arcs for every character.
Yeah.
Kind of a who thought that was going to happen.
Yeah, and like it's funny because it's like when you think about characters like Shang-Chi, like Iron Fist, you put them in that street level.
Yes.
Right? Because like that's the power set that they have.
Right. They fight. They get in street fights.
They fight, right? That's what they're gonna do.
Yes.
But and I love those small stories, and I thought they did a nice job of like building it up.
Yeah, because like I was really when they announced the Shang-Chi movie, I was like, sweet, it's gonna be like $40 million. It's gonna have like wire work, and it's all gonna be like that Ronin sequence from Endgame.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds like what I want to watch.
Yeah.
And it's like, no. It is much bigger.
Right. And initially I think I wanted that.
Yeah.
But I realized that, like, you know what? The movie that we ended up with, I'm like, that is what we needed. That's what we like. That's what I wanted from this. It turns out, like, when I saw it, I was like, yeah, yep, this makes sense, because it also puts him like on the map. He's like, no. Like, he is a bigger hero than just like a street fight.
Right. But he still could do that. Like, you could do a sequel that's way more intimate and quiet.
Sure. No, he absolutely could. But like, he also has bigger responsibilities.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're going forward.
Yeah, going forward, obviously. Like, I liked the casting of everybody in this.
Yes, the cast. Let's talk about the cast.
Yeah, Simu
Lu.
Yeah, gonna apologize. I know him, as many of us do, as Jung from Kim's Convenience.
Yes. You want to reference that?
We get like we had that moment early in the film where he talks about when he first met Katie and how like he just come to a new school. And some guy immediately started bullying him and like yelling like, yo, Gangnam Style. And he's like, I'm not even Korean, I'm Chinese. And I'm like, Amma and Appa felt that one, man. We get a very different Amma and Appa in this movie. But yeah, that's obviously where I know him from. I've watched all of those seasons. He is fantastic in that. So like, I was really glad to see a different range for him, because I haven't really explored any of his other works, because I literally had just maybe a few months ago finished the show. And so like I was like, oh great, I'm going right into this. And I thought I was going to be so stuck on him being that character. It melted away within like the first 10 minutes.
He's just a good actor.
Yeah.
So he's able to be charming and fun as he is in that show, but in this movie,
no, absolutely.
As someone else.
Yes.
So Awkwafina, I don't even know if it's divisive. I think she's I
like her.
She has her own show on Comedy Central. Like she's a comedian and like she has her own thing. But I was impressed by how like not, like I know her from Crazy Rich Asians, thanks to you, and I was like, okay, she's gonna be that character.
No, she like it's very different. Like,
very different.
She does a little bit of humor.
She does that.
A little bit, but it's like it's really dialed back, and her character has a different role to play here.
Right, and it's kind of cool.
It is kind of cool. Do you want to talk about that, or you just want to go through the cast first?
Oh yeah, let's go through the cast.
Sure.
No. You know what? Let's do that character.
So like Katie and Sean.
Yeah.
That was. I like that. Like,
you like that?
I liked her giving him a hard time.
Oh yeah, well, because that's just work. That's in the script so that you like don't ever pronounce it wrong.
Well, yeah, but like when she's like, "That's what you named yourself,"
right? He's like, "Well, I was a child. I was a 14-year-old."
Yeah. Moments like that really, for me, solidified the fact that these two do have a friendship, because that is a way a friend would like. They just told you this heartbreaking story.
Yep.
And she's like, well, hang on.
Yeah, she focused on like this funny
thing. I'm like, I feel bad for you.
Right.
But I'm still going to give you a hard time about how stupid that is.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's really stupid, what you did there.
Right.
Like, oh, they found you?
Yeah.
Surprise, surprise.
Right.
Right?
No, it worked out great.
But like, that is like, those are like little tiny world building moments for them, because like these two are supposed to have known each other for quite some time. We don't really get an idea of, maybe we do get an idea of how old they are.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Yeah, because he's born in 96.
Yeah. But he like met her when he was 15.
Yes.
So they've had some time to build a friendship.
Absolutely.
They're in a different place in their life. They represent different things, and I really dig that, because it's like she's trying to find herself.
Yes.
He's trying to escape who he is.
Yeah. Well, she's avoiding finding herself.
Yes.
She ends up finding herself at the end, or at the very least finding something she's good at, which will be a good foundation for her.
Or like for many of us having that moment where in the theater, I was like, okay, this movie just dropped some truth on me, and I need to leave.
Put a spotlight on you. Yeah.
I should leave because now I'm nope. I have to go. But you know, there's a moment at the beginning. This is one of those moments where it's like, if they had decided they needed to make this movie shorter, it probably would have been cut. But I feel like it's important to the sequence of the narration where he goes to pick her up for their valet job.
Yes.
Drops in at her. She still lives with her family.
Right.
And they're having like a family breakfast.
Yes.
And she has nothing to do with it. She ends up wanting to leave. He's very respectful of that family.
Yes.
You know, does all the right things. When he's done with his food, he takes his dishes to the sink. She doesn't.
Right.
You know, it's something he craves.
Yes.
He craves a family.
Right.
Because
she takes it for granted, or she's resentful
and I was
of it because she's like,
I like that. It really sets it up.
Works out.
Because it really sets it up for later on when he's fairly forgiving of his father.
Yeah.
Because it's something he needs. It's something he misses.
Exactly.
And I was like, I really appreciate that sequence at the beginning because it's like, you know,
sets it up. You know what he's going to be like.
It's a hole in his life.
Yeah. Yeah. You have a theory, I think, about something that an empty chair in that family.
I did, but I don't think it's right.
See, I think it is. I think they deleted it to make it less to make it less deep.
I don't think it's
dark.
I don't want it to be that though.
I think it's exactly
dark.
that. So here's the theory, and it's that he was sent when he was 14 to go and kill the man who murdered his mother.
Yeah.
And he says to Katie that he couldn't go through with it, and then he reveals that he could go through with it,
and so he did it.
Now he meets Katie at the same age, and he has a real connection with that family. You suggested that actually Katie's grandfather was the murderer of his father, that actually had a secret life where he was in the charge of this like mob, and that Shang killed Katie's grandfather. And then, kind of like in Falcon Winter Soldier, where like Bucky is paying like respect to the Japanese veteran, because he's like he killed his son. It's the same thing where he's like, but he befriends Katie kind of out of respect and like
I don't want it to
sadness.
Be that. I don't want it to be,
and that's like a secret.
No,
that's hanging over their head.
But that is what I said. I said that out loud, and I was like, I wish I hadn't said that out loud.
I think that's exactly what it was. And then they're sitting at the pool, and he's like, "I killed your grandpa."
He doesn't,
but he doesn't say that,
so
and I'm like, "That's he
no.
does," and they cut it. I bet you they cut it. They were like, "That's too dark. It's too sad. We can't have a scene where they go, like she's like, screw you. I thought I knew you," and then she like gets into archery. You know, like
no.
I'm like, I think that's exactly what happened. I think you nailed it.
I don't want it to go that way.
Tony Chu Wei-lung is an incredible actor, and he was a great job. With Shu Wen-woo.
Yeah, and like
his Mandarin, basically.
Yes, he's spectacular. Like his ability to encompass like a real hard ass and like a cutthroat individual.
Like you feel for him.
Yeah, and to becoming like this like family man.
Yeah,
this like, you know, like he is all about his family. He really does love his wife. Like there's nothing about it where like it's like a false change. Like, he really does change. It just doesn't take because like he's so hurt by it that he just reverts back to the only thing he knows. I feel for this guy.
Yeah.
I also immediately like he's Broken Sword from Hero.
Yeah.
So
so you like that.
I was like, I haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah.
For me, I know he's done plenty of stuff from then to there. I just haven't seen it.
Yes.
Yeah, he's great. He is great. Like his ability to like change his facial emotions, his charisma, and also his conviction.
Yes.
In what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
Like he just I 100% was like I was in his corner, but also not. I'm like, no, I know you're not.
But it's like one of those things where he's the villain, and it's like he's compelling, which is important.
Yeah.
He's also the fourth Mandarin, obviously the first Mandarin, in charge of like a kind of Taliban-esque organization. Second one was Trevor Slattery.
Yeah.
And then the third one was Guy Pearce, who was like, I'm the Mandarin, actually. And then
but he's not actually that.
But he's not actually the Mandarin.
No, he's not that at all. He's like, they named, after an orange.
Yeah, they named me. Yeah, they approximated it. No,
after a chicken dish.
Yeah, which is hilarious. I also thought,
and good for them.
I like that scene. I like it, but I don't think it actually was relevant to the conversation they were having. It just kind of, he brought it up, and then it's like, he did it because they needed to do it. And I'm like, because he's like, oh, we'll talk about your name and your family lineage and all that. You know, my name was approximated and anglicized to be this stupid thing. And I'm like, that's not. I needed that scene in the movie.
I think it is important because, like, all right. So in that moment, like, we understand that, like, he is sincere in what he is doing.
Oh, yeah.
Because we have just met him. You know, his sister has gone to tell us that, like, he's a bad man.
Yeah.
And here are the reasons why.
Right.
Because like she knew him longer in that sense
Mhm.
than like as a caring father.
Exactly.
Right. I feel like you need that because like first he's establishing like this is how we're doing this, by the way, folks. This is how we're getting from Iron Man's 10 rings to here. So we need that. But he ties all together with the fact that like his wife was the only one who ever used his true name.
Yes.
He's had many names. He's worn many hats.
Right,
He's
exactly.
been many
Yeah, no,
people,
you
and
got
some people have actually co-opted what
his
I
name.
do.
Yeah.
Like it's important and like it's the power behind it.
Right.
But like she used my true name.
Yeah.
And no one else ever has. And now that that's gone, I went back to this.
Yeah. That's fair.
Like, I think that is important.
Yeah. Love it.
Also, there is power like in a name too, because it's like as many people know who don't have, especially if you're from anywhere else that isn't America and you try to have a name here that isn't American, we struggle with it. And some people are just jerks about it. So like there's also that statement too, where there's power in a name and trying to get it correctly.
Right.
At least try.
Yeah.
Which we do.
Then there's the big surprise reveal, which hang on.
No, before we get to the big surprise reveal, let's talk about his sister.
Yes. Meng'er Zhang. I'm sorry.
Zhang?
But
I don't know.
But I guess it would be Zhang. But Xialing.
She's great.
She's great.
She's great. I love her. I love
I like the maturity that they used.
Well, that's perfect because she's the younger sister. And like even in the comic I'm reading now, she's much younger, which I'm glad they didn't go that young.
Yeah.
But she's the same thing where she's into the family business,
right,
and like what they do,
right, and they still kind of don't respect.
Yeah,
like,
she's a little more immature though because she's so much younger. But this version of her,
really works.
I dug her, and like she's a phenomenal like actress and a great like martial artist as well. I don't know if she actually does it, but like she looked great.
she looked great doing it.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying like she looked like she knew what she was doing.
Right.
So like
right.
Kudos.
Yeah. Fala Chen was great. Again,
Yes.
everybody was.
She was. She didn't get a lot of play.
But she gets to do a lot of interesting
Yes. That like act of them falling in love was so well done.
Yeah.
There wasn't a question about what was happening.
No, that's true. It was great to see Michelle Yeoh show back up.
She's so good
in something.
Yeah, we were just because we watch a lot of Pluto, and so like a lot of like
Bond movies are on,
and so like she was there obviously as her character Wei Lin from that.
Is a backdoor pilot to make a Wei Lin movie?
Yeah, they should have just done that.
I can't believe they didn't.
I would have loved to have watched that. But she's an incredible actress with an incredible body of work.
Yes.
And when she showed up, I was like, oh, hooray! And I thought it was nice because like, not that they, they're supposed to be sisters, and like I buy it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I buy it. I'm like, yep, okay, cool. But very different presence. I love her.
Yeah.
I'm so glad they didn't kill her.
No, me too.
I was
really, I knew that was going to happen.
I
felt it. I'm like, what?
Don't kill her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was great.
She has not aged today either. She is stunning.
Yeah.
Stunningly beautiful.
Yep. And the rest. Like the children acting was great. I was very surprised by that.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I totally agree with that.
Yep.
And I thought they did a great job aging them up.
Yeah.
Like each actor who portrayed Shang Chi, it worked in the progression.
Yeah, agreed.
Especially that little baby.
Right.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And who cares about Razor Fist? I had no complaints or compliments for Razor Fist.
No, he was fine. Weird. Yeah, he was there.
And he did the thing that he's supposed to do. Like you could write it blindfold, the scene where he's like, we have to fight.
Yes.
We have to stick together.
Yes.
Ha 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 ha. If we had been in a theater with people in it, it would have been like, there would have been that forced, I have to laugh moment.
Yes.
Instead, it was just stony silence from us.
Yeah.
But whatever, no complaint. Razor Fist. There's a dude in our Discord, by the way, if there's a link in our every description of every video we make where you can join our Discord if you were so inclined. But there's a dude in our Discord who was obsessed with Razor Fist and just kept posting pictures of Razor Fist over the last year. And I was like, you're welcome, dude. Here's your Razor Fist.
Here it comes.
I was just kind of like, man, there's that dude who loves Razor Fist so much. Here you go. I thought that was so weird. And I was like, man, Razor Fist. You could have taser faced him, but oh well.
Right. But
instead, it's just weird.
Yeah.
But everybody's great. Like it was just really, really well cast. There was no duds.
No. And I thought
so
it was
unexpected.
Interesting too because Michelle Yeoh,
and
Awkwafina worked together already.
Oh yeah, in Crazy Rich Asians.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah. So they, I don't know if they've ever had any on-screen moments together, but I was like, oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
She's just so great.
She is great.
I mean, she was in Crouching Tiger, so
but
like it's fun to like see her not only stretching those muscles, those literal muscles, but also her acting muscles.
Absolutely.
And like, being part of this.
Yeah. You know who else is great?
Who?
Sir Ben Kingsley.
He is great.
I'm thrilled he's in it. I'm sad that he was not good enough, that he is not too good to be in it.
This isn't supposed to be his movie. And
No,
I thought he was like,
I'm just, his star has fallen. And
I
it's just kind of like,
I was surprised he was here at all. I get it. And like, I appreciated it because he kind of got to have like, not necessarily the butt monkey role, but like that, like,
he was an exposition character.
He was an exposition character, but he
provided
like humor. So the other characters could be funny,
could maintain their dignity,
but like also needed like to like, they're like, there's some serious goings on here, and I have to deal with that. So like Kingsley really, and his character already is suited to that.
It's also really like sick just seeing how good he is. Like Ben Kingsley is a brilliant actor, and it's so frustrating to not see him in everything. And like he's and to used in such like a, like when he just slips into a like Scottish accent to do just a jokey Macbeth, it's like, you know what it reminds me of? There's this really terrible movie called The Score, and it stars Edward Norton, Robert De Niro, and Marlon Brando, and it's really bad. But there's a scene where, because like it's just a garbage movie, and for some reason those two said yes, and Edward Norton's like, we're too good to be in this movie, so he'll, and of course Edward Norton did, where he rewrote the movie. But like there's this, Edward Norton's character is he is a scumbag, and he is a con man, and he pretends to be a mentally handicapped janitor in the movie. Like his character pretends to be it, and he's too convincing. It's one of those things where it's like his character is, it's just, oh, Edward Norton is a brilliant actor, and he was able to slide into being like you feel bad for that character in that scene, but you're not supposed to, and because you know that he's faking it, but he's faking it to using his acting muscles, so he's actually convincing.
Right.
And that's what happened with Ben Kingsley, where he just as a joke slid into Macbeth, and he did a flawless Scottish accent. And it's like, I never hear any Scots actually play Macbeth. Are you freaking kidding me?
Well,
just a little reminder that he's brilliant.
Okay, all right, yes, yes. However, he also did the Blood Rain movie.
Yes, he did. That's the problem.
So I always listen. I love Ben Kingsley, but like, never forget that.
Yeah,
never forget
that. But never forget also that he's like Gandhi and in Sexy Beast, and he's an incredible actor.
Right, but I mean, like, I would say like the role he has in this is the role he should have in this. And I think
right. Oh no. Yeah. I'm glad that it didn't. Well, that's Trevor Slattery. He's a drunken, like douchey Brit actor. Like,
what I will say is like the thing I remember the most about him from this movie is his Planet of the Apes conversation with Awkwafina.
Genuinely funny, an actual funny joke. Like
that was spectacular.
It landed.
That was almost like he just came up with that.
Right. Yeah. Like he was just riffing with
that Planet of the Apes story. Just
nailed it.
That got me at every beat.
Yeah.
Too.
Right. Every time that they added more to the joke, it worked. Yeah.
And like, yeah.
Yeah. Creature design. Excellent.
Creature design I thought was great.
The double butt monster as Morris. So cute.
He's adorable and fluffy, and they're gonna make $1 million on those plushies.
They better.
I'm gonna buy one.
Right. But like but when you go to Tello and you see this like all the bestiary.
Yes. Like I was right there.
Yeah.
It was beautiful, and I hope they make a ride out of it.
And you pointed out something interesting as well, where it was like about the creatures, about the mythology when you get to the mystical city.
I did?
Yeah. They didn't point it out.
Yeah, no. Yeah, no.
There's no character going, what? This is whack.
Yeah,
like there's no moment like that.
Nobody has that reaction. First of all, Slattery's like, he's used to seeing it, and like it's just like that's what's here. And like
actually they had that reaction when Morris shows up, and I thought that actually worked.
Yes, well, because it also comes out of nowhere, and they're really not in a place where you would see that.
No, it's like you're going to a mystical city, you might get to see a Pokemon or something. But in this moment, you're in a dungeon. It's just like this thing comes out. They're like,
I really appreciated that. Like they appreciated the beauty. They knew what they were getting into already. It was already explained to them as a land of like mythical creature and like and you know, mysticism.
Yes.
And so like when they get there, we don't have to have that like
what are these
awkward like what's happening. They're just there.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful.
Right.
And I don't actually know the true name of the lion dogs, but I loved them.
They're great. It was so cool.
Much.
It's one of those things where like you see them in popular culture and in like regular society based on like, you know, statues and such. But like like who's gonna make a movie to show you them interacting with human beings?
It's really
and it's like
making a movie that in American culture that we would see, because I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know about like Chinese cinema.
I don't know.
Like, oh no, they're all over the place.
They were just so
it's cool to see them
and like watching them charge into battle where it wasn't played up.
No.
They were back there doing their thing, because what are you going to do? Food dogs. That's it. Thank you. Thank you.
But yeah,
that's exactly
so cool. Like, I was just like, wow, like that's really awesome.
Yeah. They're beautiful.
Yeah. And the
and
end,
I just wanted to
right? And then of course you got dragons.
Yeah, and like, you know,
I was really expecting
not
Fin Fang Foom to show up in this movie.
I know, and I was like, you're not getting that.
like,
they said it's the Dwell in the Darkness, and that's not who that character is.
No, and that's the thing.
That's also not who that character is.
They used the character.
Though.
Man, they got the face, kind of.
But he's like a dude usually.
He was a dude. He's just a big, scary monster dude.
I think he wears like a suit. He's one of the Fear Lords.
He's cooler now. He's a big, scary monster.
I really don't have a problem with it, but I was like, you're not getting this. Not Fin Fang Foom, and that would not work at all, and that's not appropriate.
It would be a little weird.
It's inappropriate. And it's not okay to do that with this movie.
Yeah.
But it's not westernized dragons. So like I'm like they're great looking.
Yes.
Like just really, that dragon was so pretty.
Yeah.
And scary.
Right. No, it worked out great.
Yeah.
So like ultimately, I mean, you know, not to wind things down, but I really like. I enjoyed the movie. I had fun watching it.
I honestly look forward to watching it again. I would like to see it again. I really liked the score.
Yeah.
You know, I liked the locations.
Right.
It wasn't just wasn't just the mystical city. You know what I mean? Like
there's a scene when they go up to like the
and we don't go to like something that like you would like, you know, we don't go to like, you know, Hong Kong or like, you know, something like that. We go to Macau.
Yeah.
We go to Macau.
Right. That's different.
And I think they're in San Francisco.
Yes, they're in San Fran. Yeah.
But like, it's just, you know, they're different settings that are completely work.
Right.
And like show different sides to culture.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really cool.
When they go up to like the high rise that the the underground fighting ring is in, and you see all that scaffolding, I'm like, there's gonna be a fight on the scaffolding.
Sure.
Like you knew that was gonna happen.
Sure. I mean, I don't listen. Have we seen fights like that before? Yes. Do I still want to see fights like that?
Totally.
Yes. That's another thing. The fighting scales.
Yeah.
And like in a nice way. It's not like overly done. I don't think you're watching a movie in which martial arts are supposed to be part of it.
Yeah.
So I want a lot of martial arts in it.
Yeah.
But it wasn't such a detriment to the story because, you know, you're also still telling a Marvel movie. So you need to have some sort of story.
Yeah.
Putting it all together. That first fight is great. It's unexpected. It's in like an unconventional location.
Yes.
There are stakes.
Yes.
But they're not super
high. It's they're regular people.
It's a lot of lives.
It's not the world. It's not the city. It's just a couple people.
It's very much like a sort of The Rock chase scene.
Yeah, the Humvee chase.
Yes, I you know, this was done with a bus that's like one of those 2-part buses that like I'm like, yeah, that would happen. This is a disaster.
Yeah.
And then every other fight after that is slightly different, but like, you know,
but ratcheted up.
Yeah, because it's like he has the fight with his sister, and while that fight isn't as long, it is, you know, it's going to be it's more deadly in a way because it's like not only a fight in which you know the two opponents are equally matched, but it's also a fight of words and like, you know, just trying to like get the job done.
Exactly.
And we go from there until the final fight, which is of course like big and grandiose. And like, that's great.
Yeah. And that's the thing is like, would I have hoped for a smaller movie? I did when it was announced. But there's also that other element to it. It's not just about them giving us a pretty dope look, like, you know, compared to third acts in some Marvel movies, like this one I think was a little better than most in terms of like there being, you know, it looking a little better. Like the dragon fight I thought like actually looked really good, and you know, like Shang using the rings in his way, I was like, that's really cool. Like how they did it. It you know, it made sense. It was part of the world. It was just, it didn't look like it didn't look bad. There's that big shot where like everything's falling. I'm like, oh, that looks really nice. Like that's actually like, you know, made you feel good.
Yeah, honestly, like I thought they did a really excellent job of building the tension of even that final battle. Like, you know, he's gonna win. Yeah, like you know that because you're watching a Marvel movie. You know he's gonna win. The hero's gonna win. Yeah. But like as he's like defeating the Dweller in the Dark. Yes. And like everyone's watching him up there. I felt like that level of like, is it gonna work? Anticipation of like the drop or like whatever he's gonna do. Like he was there. Yeah. Should we talk really quickly about the rings themselves?
Sure, yeah.
Obviously
changed
very
all because of the gems. I get it. You got to change them. You can't have like magic rings that each one you got to collect.
Thank you. That's literally it. And like, it's not 5 this time. It's double. Yeah. You can't do that.
No,
like,
you can't do the gems again.
Like you like, even if it's
because they're different,
accurate to the comics.
Yeah, it's just gonna look.
It's gonna look lazy.
It's gonna look lazy.
And so like, I am pleased that they changed them
and they turn it into something else.
Yes.
And they made it maybe part of some like larger plot, as evidenced by the post-credit scene. Yeah. Which I guess we can get into. The post-credit scene was interesting.
Yes.
What?
Yeah, no, sorry.
Wong goes and collects Shang-Chi and Katie, and
Yeah.
he's like, welcome to the MCU, bitch. Here we go. Like, that's legitimately the scene. It's like, you're part of the MCU, whether you like it or not, you're in it. We're going to call you. Meet Captain Marvel. She's not leaving anytime soon. Here's Banner. He's not Hulk anymore for some goddamn reason.
Someone said why. It's a super chat.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, we'll have to get into it.
It's, and I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I hadn't even thought about. That didn't even strike me. I was too busy thinking about the fact that they're forming the Defenders.
Yeah. Right. Which they could.
I was like, oh, we're getting Defenders.
Yeah. Hey, listen, that way Strange can be an Avenger and Wong can be a Defender. Because they're not going to get rid of Wong. It's like Wong is an integral part now of this thing. It's like War Machine was like not an Avenger, but like he kept showing up in Avengers movies, and it's like, listen, you're an Avenger, dude. Like, Wong, listen, you're an Avenger. You had to go to Tony Stark's wedding.
Yeah, he can be a secret Avenger.
Right. Yeah. Hey, listen, I'll take in the Secret Avengers team.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But he could be a regular Avenger too. But
right.
Like, you know, I was imagining, because they were like, it's literally because of the location they were meeting, and it's all like secretive, and like, and I'm like, yes.
Right.
Make a secret Defenders.
Ooh. But yeah, they're getting into the like, what are the rings made of? How old are they? They're older than 1,000, like 10,000 years old.
What could they be?
What could they be? They sent out a beacon.
It's a beacon.
Who are they calling? What's that all about? They rule out a few things. No vibranium, not cosmic or something, or at least Captain Marvel doesn't recognize it. You know, there's a mystery afoot. I think it's an Eternals thing. I think it's just there's a celestial.
I was wondering that as well.
The mystery is going to be 1 month long.
Yeah.
And it's going to be
and
like,
those are his rings.
Right. They're his blings. I take that. I love that idea only because like I don't want another goddamn 10-year long. Oh, our character's gonna turn around menacingly and look at the camera.
Yeah.
Maybe Sean Gunn will have to, or James Gunn will be forced to put him in your movie for no reason. Like, no.
Well, hopefully it's not a beacon for Galactus.
Well, that's the thing. Is like I don't think it will be. But if it is, I mean, yay, Galactus. But yeah, why would it be? Why would it be? You know,
I don't know.
But I'm not here to speculate on that. I don't care.
I did enjoy, you know, those Carol and Bruce are there so briefly.
Yes.
But there's like that bit of banter.
Yeah.
Where she's like, "Oh, I gotta go. I gotta." He's got my number.
Yeah. I don't
know why she does this. I don't have her number.
Right. Yeah. Oh well. Bye.
Like, I love Mark Ruffalo's befuddled take on Bruce Banner.
Yeah.
I don't know. What's happening?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to the next one of these.
Right.
There's a lot to talk about with this. There's a lot of subtlety to the story. The fact is it's an epic sprawling adventure, and prepare your Vin Diesel memes, but it is all about family.
Right. At the end of the day.
Like at the end of the day, that's really is what this is about. And they're not like trying to shove it in.
Yeah.
That is an element to Shang-Chi's character. And, you know, I'm glad that they really put it at the forefront, because it also does make it feel different.
Yeah.
From some of the other films.
Agreed.
You know, he's a very different upbringing as a hero. We've already set up that he's clearly going to have some issues with his sister. And what she's chosen to do.
Because she gets a post-credit scene, and that was an interesting thing. Because and you know what it's doing? It's following that same trend that like all the MCU like things have worked in Phase 4, where they're like, we're just setting up the villains. You know, we're just setting up. We got Kang, we got Sharon, we got the Power Broker.
She's a questionable villain because, like, you know, she just wants like her slice of the cheddar because, you know, she didn't.
Yeah, but you're running a terrorist organization called the Ten Rings.
Well, yes, but maybe not. Maybe it's what?
Yeah, I don't think so.
I'm just gonna hang up on that one. I don't know what that is.
Right.
But yeah, there's a lot to it, and like family is throughout. We start the movie with family.
Yep.
Friends are family. Her family, his extended family he doesn't even know about.
Yeah.
Who then like teaches him more about his mother.
Right.
Because like we got like, and like I really appreciate that scene now between him and his sister when like he's a teen and she's younger and he's about to like leave.
Mm-hmm.
And like she's like, sometimes when I'm practicing, I can feel mom, and he's like, I don't.
Right.
And so then when he
comes back,
he meets his aunt.
Yes.
And it's like she's able to like rekindle that within and like teach him more. Like he, you know, closed fists, she opens his fists. And I'm like, it's just cool. Like there's a lot to this movie if you want to find it in there. It's a pretty tight movie.
Agreed.
It's tight.
Yeah. I think it works. And enjoed it very much so. So let's jump into some super
movies
chats.
whose scenes are completely all necessary are tight.
Yeah. Are tight. What's it called? TIWAI Vautier says, New Zealand is in lockdown, so I can't watch Shang-Chi. We'll catch in the repeat.
Oh, no
See you then.
problem. Stay safe.
Cosmic Reader, I'm glad that Marvel keeps proving that they can make any film of a obscure character and make him a fan favorite.
Absolutely.
Deviled Ham, one place Marvel doesn't get enough credit, making interesting side characters and leveraging them for other projects. I agree with that. That's fair.
Because I mean, look at Wong.
Right?
Like, he's become like a fan favorite.
Yeah, he went from like a Doctor Strange obscure favorite, like some people are like, I like Wong, but to no, some people really love Wong now, and and with good reason.
Yeah, he's a completely different character than he is in the comics.
Yes.
So that's the other thing, though. If you're looking for that Wong in the comics,
you're not gonna get a Wong book.
You're not getting that. Well, more recent Wong is a little more like that. He's a little more agency, and he's left Strange, and he's doing his own thing. But like early Wong, it's not that.
Yeah. BB Metalhead 04, Weiwu kind of gave me shades of Dracula from Netflix's Castlevania.
Yes. I could see that for sure. Yes.
Kali Frederick, my third favorite origin story behind Iron Man and Guardians of the Galaxy. Best action, but liked the leads and side characters more. I question Katie's quick bow and arrow pickup. That was, I think, an integral part of the character. Like, it's one of those things where it's like, she's just really good at it. And it's like the thing she's really good at.
Well, and I think, so like her arc to me was that, and she even says this, that like she'll get decently good at something and then she'll quit it. But like she clearly has like abilities in driving, like she loves to drive, but she doesn't want to do it to anything that could actually help her. She valets cars,
right?
Because like almost as though like these things that she gets decently good at aren't the things she's meant to do,
right? And
like there's some part of her that knows that, and so when she does this, it's like this is what she was meant to do.
Yeah. Deadpool's Intrin says, I think this movie takes place after She-Hulk, and that's why Bruce is not the Hulk state. Maybe a certain blood transfusion that happened. I would be fine with that too.
Right.
I also theorized on another show that maybe they've managed to separate the Hulk from Bruce Banner, and maybe like as a result, you get your Savage Hulk, who's more powerful and bigger and more scary.
They
and
can send him away.
Yeah, well, they already did. Yeah. No, you can't send him away now.
Send him away again.
We'll send him to freaking the desert and do your Hulk movie. But like, who knows? Will.i.am Golden, I looked up Mandarin. It's a type of high-ranking official in the Chinese accent. Yes, that's true.
Well, yeah, no, I think that they wanted to do that though, because like honestly, like creating a character called the Mandarin was it's an inappropriate character.
Well, he's a Fu Manchu ripoff
in the comics, and that's inappropriate, and then it shouldn't have done that. And so like I think they're trying to make sure you understand that it's like it's a joke now. Right? Like that's a joke, and that's not really what it is. And,
exactly.
Like, let it go.
Well, they're not going to do that anymore.
Yeah.
Deb M, I wish the rings did different things. I really hope Tony Leung comes back and is a proper villain. Maybe some part of him imprinted on the ring and so forth. I don't think so.
Yeah, I know technically the ring should do different things, but you do see that he uses them. They both use them in different ways for different power sets.
Yeah, and you get the idea of like what his rings were versus Shang's.
And I think Shang's will probably be able to do more things just because Shang has a different demeanor and approach to utilizing them. And I thought he was a great villain.
Yeah.
Because he's the kind of villain with the conviction that he thinks he's right.
Yes.
And like you feel for him, and he's the kind of villain that like you charismatically and like because you like want him to have that happiness again, you believe in him, you are with him. I think that that's a pretty damn good villain that like could convince you, the movie going audience, that like I kind of want him to get his wife back.
Right.
maybe she is back there.
Yeah.
I know she's not because there's big scary tentacle bats flying out, but
but like maybe. Treving Zilly helping us out. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
DJ Ill 47. What collection should I read first? Spider-Man or Batman? Spider-Man. Batman, you can jump around. Spider-Man all goes in one direction. So yeah, there we go, everybody. We want to thank you so much for hanging out with us, and of course, checking out our review of Shang-Chi. Hopefully, you check out our recommendations for comics that are coming out starting on Tuesday, going into Wednesday. If you buy comics, you will help the industry. Don't forget to pre-order your favorite books because that helps them out even more. If you want to help us out, of course, you can subscribe to our channel. Give the video a like if you happen to feel that way. And follow us on twitch.tv/ComicPop to watch Tiffany play video games Tuesdays and Wednesdays most days. And we will see you guys next time with a new episode. Thanks a lot for watching. I am Sal.
And I'm Tiffany.
So long, everybody. Thanks a lot.
Bye.